Hello, my fellow comic collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and I think you have me on your computer or something. I can hear my voice twice.
I don't have all I have is just the one open, so
Okay,
I'm not it's not me.
okay, okay. Well, somehow I hear an echo, echo, echo. Hopefully,
Echo, echo,
nobody else
echo.
here. Hey, Cam Union, you're always the first to show. That's very good of you. Um, and yeah, so today we got actually a bit of a surprise from both of us. We're both going to be doing an unboxing. We're going to be showing some extra books, and we'll show some random stuff that is nearby. So I'm going to grab some
There
random
is
stuff.
some. There is a few.
There is a few random things. So
What is K-Munin? K-Munin, what do you collect? You ask good questions, but what do you collect yourself? Are you a silver Marvel guy, a bronze Marvel guy, a DC guy? What do you go for? Okay.
we'll find out.
Hit us up.
Yeah. So one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about is recently both of us have been watching Big Me McFly's honey hole
Mhm.
videos. He's now shown three videos.
I've only seen
One,
2.
yeah, there's been three now.
Okay.
The first one was
PCH.
PCH, and then the second one was Archie, and then the
Yep.
third one was superheroes.
Oh, okay. What was in it?
There was some good stuff. He had some Bullet Man, and he had some early Superman, and like from the issue 40 range,
Mhm.
40s and up. And then he had some action and some lots of Superman stuff,
Mhm.
Adventure comics, later issues of Adventure, like late golden, early silver. Um,
That's a really, really tough area to collect from.
mhm,
The survival rate of that stuff from 53 through about 60, about there at 57, 6.
mhm,
That stuff through there, it just doesn't live very long. And that's why
mhm.
when you see the anthology titles for Marvel,
So K Union likes to collect any character I like, Marvel, DC, etc. Alan will be proud I picked up my first zombie tramp. See, I convert people to
your
zombie
plan
tramp.
is coming together, Ellen.
I'll make zombie tramp super valuable. That's
Zombie
the goal.
tramps, all.
Oh my
Good for you. Thank
collection.
you.
This is all about promoting zombie tramp. At the end of the day, like this whole, it's like I'm just trying to distract people with the golden age stuff. It's all about the zombie tramp at the end of the day.
Well, I hope
Um,
you get that number 3. It's probably you'll find it, and then it'll end up by your Bullet Man 1.
exactly. So yeah, I thought the videos that Brian put up were somewhat annoying in a way.
Hmm.
Because one thing, like he did flip through the books reasonably well, but the only issue that I found was he
Yeah, you
always
missed a
cut off.
third of the book. You
I
missed a
couldn't
third of the
see
book.
the whole book, and I couldn't see the price that the guy had. So if it was like 200, like some of them he had 200 on them, and I
Yeah.
thought maybe if it's like mid grade, but not if it's low grade. You know what I mean?
No.
Like so, so it was like I don't know if these are good prices or not. Like, he keeps on pulling stuff out of there that he's found that has been good. So I
Well,
don't.
I think that he actually pours through this. I will say that the material that I got from him is very, very bright and nice stuff. He has a good eye. Of course, he ran a couple comic stores,
Yeah,
so
so he knows.
Brian knows how to do that, and he's pretty good at that. So
Yeah, there's somebody in the chat that you might know. I'm not sure who this person is, but
I don't know.
just some
Susan,
random.
she has my last name.
Yeah. She stole your last name. Oh my goodness.
Hi,
Thief.
Sue.
So maybe that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it on her
No, no,
computer.
I'm down below. I'm
Oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm she's not on. I'm one floor down.
Oh, Jerry's here. Hey, Jerry.
Jerry?
And then what's this one? You also got me into Vampirella as well. I found it hard to find comics with Nightwing or Winter Soldier. They're they're two characters I personally like. Cool.
Very good.
Yeah, one sec here. I'm wondering if it's me.
It is you. Because my I
'Cause
have
remember how I closed and opened again?
Yes.
I'm wondering if there's like another tab with this show.
I don't know. I don't. I turned off completely and then came back up again.
Mhm.
I'm certain it's not on my side. That phone call that came in really got you.
Yeah, it really messed things up. Okay, so sorry, I blame everyone but myself. Um, so does everything sound fine to everybody else? It's just maybe me that's going crazy.
It sounds fine to me, Alan.
Okay. Um, hey Ozzy,
Hossie,
I'll have to get you in here. Like if I could figure out how to send you the link, I'd invite you in. Um, it'd be cool to have you too.
put it in the
Um,
chat. Type it in the chat, and he can link it.
okay, I'm on my phone. I can't do those things.
Oh, no.
It's
Then
like
maybe
it's
not.
impossible. Yeah, like if Big B is supposed to come here tonight, by the way,
Okay.
but he can't. He's actually dealing with the seller. He's actually trying to
Oh,
set up a
okay.
big deal, and I don't know what's going on
Okay.
with that. So, oh, okay. Well, he can't come anyways. So, okay. Well, next time.
There you go.
You're always welcome. By the way. Um, so yeah, so we're gonna show some cool books and some original art, like a little bit original art, because I got some original art in the mail today. Some I can't show. Sorry, I can't show it, but some that I can. So that's always good. Um, oh, Ozzy's working on his next book. So you can have us in the background and you can work on your book. Um, and you have some unboxings that you have to do. Like, can you quickly show the boxes, or do you
Sure.
like just show like what we have? So
I
here's
got
my
this. I
this
got
is
this
my
one,
stack of stuff. Just one
this
book.
one, and then
Okay.
I have this one.
Okay.
I had one other, but that one is down at the framer.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah, that one. We might have to do a special video for that when you get it. Ooh,
I would love to. It's really something.
yeah, that's like a thing where we could do like some spotlight and just talk about what it is and who did
I
it.
would love to.
Yeah, that'd be a fun thing to. Yeah,
Secret, super
see,
secret,
super secret.
double secret
Sure.
probation.
Yeah, exactly. So that'd be fun. I'm pretty excited about that. I think it was much that was one of those pleasant surprises that you had.
Yes,
That that's
I
a
was
nice.
blown
It's a
away.
really good surprise. It's a really great surprise that you got with that one.
Yeah, the box came and I said, "What is this?" And then I said, "Oh my god, he
It's
must
so
have a
big.
huge box." It has a huge box on it. And the next thing I know, and the image is just enormous. Anyway,
Mhm. Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be fun.
Wait. Just yesterday, I got a huge lot of Punisher, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. My collection is ever growing. A little hard as I only collect direct issues from 1999 and before, nothing from 2000 and after. There are some good things after 2000, but yes, I can understand that
I'm with
thing.
you.
I can understand
I'm
that.
with you.
And hi, comic Donovan.
Donnie
He-
Van.
Donovan. He was on my. I interviewed him.
Oh, okay.
He's the young collector, kind of like
Young. He's a
young.
young man.
He's a young man, young lad. So yeah, so do you want me to go first? How about I show my original art and then
Okay.
you kind of prepare your boxes and then we'll
I
switch back
beg
and
your pardon.
forth. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna show some original art that I just picked up. So I really like this one artist. And I've been collecting his stuff. He did a series of modern comics that I like, called Crossed. Um, they're way over the top. Like you either love it or truly hate it. It's like not meant for kids. It's way over the top kind of stuff. But he does a lot of these original art things where you can commission him and you can sometimes buy his original art. So I bought a few pieces that I knew were small. These are small pieces that I bought from him, but they were very affordable. They were like 20 euros each, and I think it was like a discount if you bought more than two. So, so I actually got it cheaper than that because I bought three. So these are all original art pieces from Ralo Carreras, and this is sort of like a little demon one. You got the pentacle in the background here. Got the woman just sort of looking kind of hypnotized almost, and you get this sort of demon-like guy coming up behind her. And his artwork is very detailed oriented. Okay, so there's that one, and then we got this one where this kind of reminds me of an old pre-code horror cover, where they're kind of either walking in or coming out of the mouth of some demon creature. And this one I thought was kind of cool with the bats and the cool teeth, and so these are very affordable. I mean, considering all the line work and work that he put into these, you can see the little demon with the pitchfork up here, and just really cool stuff. So yeah. Mhm. And then we got the last one. This is kind of like Rosemary's Baby, the after what happens afterwards. That's what Stephen was mentioning. So this is like you know, you got the woman with the bear woman right here, and this is the baby carriage, kind of like a medieval style, or not, maybe not medieval, maybe Romanesque.
Well,
Uh,
Basil Wolverton-ish.
no, I wouldn't say Basil Wolvertonish, but maybe the monster is a bit. Yeah, maybe I could see that. But it's like a wicker basket, like almost like a little chariot for the baby, and you got this demon creaturey, tentacly, weird hand thing coming out of the baby carriage. So just kind of fun original art that I got. And you got this one guy up here. I think he's running away from the from the woman with the crazy baby. So those are some original pieces that I got. I actually got a bit more than that, but they're adults. They're more much more adult, so I can't show them. But they were pretty cool. So yeah, so those are my contributions. I'll go back to Stephen now.
I'm almost done.
Are you almost done? Okay, and I'll read some more chat here. Only two franchises I make exceptions for buying 2000 and after are Street Fighter and officially today Zombie Tramp. By the way, the issues I bought were all risque versions. Yeah, the risque versions, actually, I'm not sure if they print more of the risque ones than the regular ones, because everyone buys the risque ones. but yeah, they're usually quite popular, and they can go for pretty big money, strangely. Um,
I wonder
uh,
if anybody has one of those.
oh wow, you're picking up a 150 key comic collection. That's pretty awesome for $900. That's pretty good, Donovan.
What
Um,
vintage?
yeah, what era, Donovan? What era are those key comics from? Yeah, so once Steven goes live, I will actually start unboxing my book. So I got this one book that I'm going to be showing, and it's a cool one. It's actually quite rare. I think there's less than 20 on the census. It's like a pretty rare book. Um, but yeah. Oh wait, I've changed my spending habit for 2024. I'm buying 9 big key issues and my weekly comics and nothing else. That's actually a good strategy overall. I buy too many little things and it takes away from buying a big thing sometimes. And
Or buying something that's middle, that's perhaps in a little bit nicer condition. What I
exactly.
did was I stopped the modern buying, the every week thing. I just stopped doing that to basically take the money, because I just um, I just don't find the writing now. It isn't as conducive to me as, for example, not buying it. If something actually comes on pretty good, then I could go back and pick it up or buy the trade or whatever as far as that goes. But my collecting always basically almost exclusively pre-code, other than
Mhm.
Good Girl, modern Good Girl stuff episodically.
The only thing I would recommend right now that is modern and just came out is Ultimate Spider-Man. They just released #1 a few weeks ago. That is a pretty interesting take on Spider-Man. So they made an interesting story for once. So I think
Spider-Man is it?
it's Peter Parker.
Oh, Peter Parker.
But it's interesting because what they do in this modern retelling of the Spider-Man story is it's sort of a what if in a way. What if there was no superheroes? Basically, there's this one villain guy who basically stops all the superheroes from ever existing.
That sort of
And
puts a cramp in stuff, doesn't it?
yeah, but what happens is later on, Spider-Man gets a chance to become Spider-Man again.
Mm.
Or well, not again, but to become Spider-Man. He doesn't become Spider-Man.
Hmm.
He never gets bitten by the spider when he's a kid, but as an adult, he gets the option to become Spider-Man. And he's already married. I think it's Mary Jane, and or yeah, and then he's 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 had a family, so he's a family man. And what if he became Spider-Man at that age?
Is
And
there don't they
it's an
have any
interesting
other
story.
characters they could write about than Spider-Man and Wolverine and the X-Men? I mean, isn't there anybody else they do anything with?
Well, I mean, you want to work with it's sort of like Batman. Batman they've been doing forever, and it's like you gotta work with your characters,
Yeah,
right?
but Batman's good.
Batman's
Smile
good.
when you say that, hombre.
Spider-Man's.
Smile when you say that.
See that even Ozzy agrees. So ultimate superhero fantasy for all readers in their 40s. So it's designed for older readers.
So it's Dad Jean's superhero.
Yes.
Very good. Gosh,
Yeah.
that sounds so cool to me.
Yes, it is cool. So yeah, but you're waiting for the grandpa version of Spider-Man to come out, right?
Thank you. Thank you. At least you didn't say great grandpa.
Okay, well, I meant great great grandpa. Sorry, I should have said it right.
Thanks.
But yeah, you're right.
Excellent. You're
Yeah,
a marvelous host. Thank you.
Dino Spider-Man. So yeah, okay,
Through the courtesy of Fred's 2 feet.
exactly. Okay, so I'll let you show your books.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
I just was mentioning about buying Modern Good Girl, and one of the artists that I have taken, I really do like his stuff. I would say the vast majority of the stuff I like, and his name is Nathan Zerdy, Zerdy, Nathan Zerdy, and I've been showing several, and what I tend to do more so now than before, when I would buy Modern Age, I would just buy them raw, and generally they'd be in pretty nice shape, and I would get them at my LCS and what have you. But what I do anymore, to a certain degree, is I will buy them slabbed because then they're easier to present and they're easier to store. They take a little more space, but I don't buy all that many of them. But anyway, the first one I have is a Nathan Zerdy cover, and this one is from it's a DC versus Vampires #10, Nathan Zerdy variant, and this is from December of 2022, and it's Supergirl.
Oh, nice.
And
That,
her
that,
her her super suit, her uniform, is all ripped and torn, and she's bleeding underneath, where the magical creature can hurt her, because Superman can be affected by magic. So Supergirl is the same, but I just think that the face and the hair
no,
and
that's
I
great.
mean, she's just very slim and very attractive, and she isn't tremendously buxom or anything. She looks very, very proportional. I think it looks I think it's a pretty cover. And I think her eyes are red too. Now I don't know what that means. She is now vampire-y or
Yeah,
not.
I think so. I think that means something as evil has gotten into her.
So I think that's pretty good. These
Mm.
books are about you said this on when the guy asked what would you buy for $100, what would you buy for 500 and then a thousand.
Yeah, that's about $100 book for
And
me.
you said I would buy a really nice looking slab 9/8 modern Good Girl book.
Yeah.
And I thought to and I had a couple coming, and I said, man, I go with that. So there's your it's probably, I think it was like 115 or 125 or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but
Usually
right
they're
around
reduced.
$100.
Yeah.
And so since I always do what you do, Alan, and you provide me with all my collecting direction, I was watching your show with Mark over the weekend on the best Silver Age books and what have you, and you went with the sort of the more not beaten,
Obscure. Yeah, obscure.
obscure, but the less beaten path after the huge glut of all those really big books that for giant money and all that stuff. And very gratifying about DC. It's very gratifying, and that Marvel is turning. I don't wish Marvel ill at all, but I think that DC has been sort of the poorer relation for many years, too many years. And I remember one time I mentioned something to one guy that all he collected was Marvel, and I said, I said, don't you Marvel zombies even like Neil Adams or something like that?
Hmm.
And he was a younger guy, so he did not know that that was basically the affectionate for Marvel collectors when I was a kid. He says, "What do you?" I said, "Oh, I'm a Marvel zombie, big time. I'm a Marvel
Hmm.
zombie."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I said, "Why do you have to always be a Marvel zombie?" And he took umbrage to that. He got bent out of shape. I said, "That's not a bad thing."
Hmm.
He says,
It
"You
just means
called
that you
me a
love Marvel.
zombie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You called me a zombie." Okay,
All
zombie.
right.
Anyway, so I was watching your show, and there was a book that I had to get, so I went and got me one, and it's Astro Boy #1.
Which I actually learned a little bit more about after posting the video about that. So that's actually not only the first appearance of Astro Boy in America, but it's also the first time you get anime in comic form in America.
Double
So it's
yoker.
that's a kind of a major book for for those reasons.
And it's nice because at this in this vintage being 19
Early
six,
60s.
well, it's 1965.
Yeah.
It's June of 65. Excuse me,
Mhm.
August of 65. So in August of 65, I was almost 65. I was almost 12.
Okay.
But the back cover is the pinup.
Yeah, which is nice.
Astro Boy has a very special place in my heart. Um, in 1962, going into 63, in November, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. I was in the fourth grade, and the um, the programming for everything, because it was such a horrific event, and then Lee Harvey Oswald got bumped off. Would you like to know how much it was? The seller here in Australia had a wrecked copy for 600. I
That's
paid, I
crazy.
think, 425. I was a deal. Uh,
Yeah, it was a
about
good
four,
that's a good price.
about 425, and I looked at a 7.5, and there was a 9, and those were like $700 or $800 for the 7, and then 1298 or something for the 990 or whatever it was.
Hmm.
And both the 7.5 and the 9.0, whatever it was, had a brown ring around the outer
Oh,
edge of
really?
the cover. They
So like a
both had
dust
this.
shadow or something, or
Yeah, they had, it was like, but they both had the same dust shadow, which leads me to believe that some of the print run, just like Action Comics 252, has the right edge of every 252 I've ever seen has a slight discoloration.
hmm.
Adventure Comics 247 also does tend to have a very slight discoloration along the right edge. Now, I don't know what chemical they used or whatever, but the Astro Boy, that Astro Boy, I looked at that, and this 4 had a much cleaner, brighter cover than either one of those. So I said, well,
Hmm.
that's, thank God. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But anyway, but back to my story. So Kennedy has been assassinated, and the country is in shock. And so the programming for at that time, there were only 3 networks. And I think we might have had no, we had 3 networks. And so for the next, I don't know if it was like a month, there was no other programming except having to do with the assassination. And it was reaction and all this other stuff. The very first Saturday on ABC, um, where the programming changed, was on the Saturday they ran cartoons, and
Oh wow.
they had the debut of the first Japanese cartoons in Portland, and it was Astro Boy.
Oh, that's very cool.
And I was absolutely, I loved Astro Boy because it was so bizarre and weird fantasy kind of thing. And they had the I hate this the snot bubbles, but Professor Elephant, and I mean all that little stuff that they put in there, this sort of humanity. And they tell the story of how Astro Boy, Astor is his father. Astor's killed, and so he builds a robot, but the robot's too good, and then he doesn't like him. And there's all this is for a kids cartoon, which I don't even think it really was a kids cartoon. I think it was just a cartoon. They
Yeah.
just played it. They just played the Japanese animation. They just played it straight, and if the kids figure it out, they do. If they don't, that's fine too. But I figured it out. But in compared to Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies, Astro Boy was a change. Astro
Yeah.
Boy was a real big change, and so I enjoyed it. And then finally, here a few years ago, I bought not only the first series that they had managed to collect all over the world. They had found prints of the original set that they were able to put together to have it be really nice, or as nice as they could possibly get it. And then there's the second series, which is in color, and I don't care as much for that, but I have it anyway just to have it. But I thought that but Astro Boy is very cool. So when I saw that cover, that's one that I really went for that sci-fi character and the different powers that would happen, the machine guns in his butt, and how he would fly
Mhm.
and the various things that he would do. And he took on some big guys, and there was these huge scraps with these robots. It was pretty good, and the animation was, I thought, very very good for what it was. Hanna Barbera had left MGM with Tom and Jerry, and they struck out on their own with Huckleberry Hound. The first they had was um, uh, uh, Rough and Ready was the first, and that was a 5 cartoon thing. You got one little cartoon a day for 5 days, and then you got the story in 5 days. And then next week you start off and it's another 5 days, but they're very short. You have enough time to say what has happened. You get just a little bit of action and movement, and then you get the tease for the next episode. And it was on a kids cartoon show, Ramblin' Rod or whatever it was, here in town. And it's limited animation because the way they did it is obviously not theatrical. It's the only economic way that they could possibly do it. So it is rather flat, and they're moving back and forth like this. And it's just like long stretches of them running or whatever they're doing. But then it went into Huckleberry Hound and it went to Yogi Bear and all that other stuff. So that was where that was. But in the comics, the ones that I liked were the space stuff, because the Mercury program and the Gemini program and the Apollo program were all coming on. We had the very first guy in space and all that other cool stuff when the space stuff started. And Astro Boy was one that I always really liked. I liked Space Mouse that Walter Lantz did. I really liked that. And there's one other one too. I can't think of it. But anyway, but Astro Boy in particular is a special place because of that, because of what happened.
Yeah, I always liked Astro Boy. Astro Boy's awesome. Um, I used to watch it when I was a kid too. But I probably watched it in reruns because I didn't realize it was that old when I saw it, right? Like it was like I saw it in the 80s, so much later.
If they were in color, that was the second series. If it was black and white, then that was probably the first series, unless you didn't have a
Oh,
color TV.
so originally when it was on TV, it was in black and white. Astro Boy.
Yes,
Oh wow. Okay.
the
What?
original series. The original
Wow.
series, I think, is in black and white.
Wow. I never knew that. I only watched the color version.
You'll love the first one. There's a lot more to it. You can get it, you can buy it, on a DVD, and
Or
they've
well,
got it all,
probably I can probably find it on YouTube or something like that too. Right?
probably. But a lot of the staging and the direction. Uh, I would say that of the anime, Astro Boy is pretty much. I've watched a bunch of them. I can't tell you the names of them, but Alan pointed out
There's a
they are
bunch.
somewhat formulaic, because you have a hero and then you have the bad guy who's actually a good guy, and then someone's powerful and then someone's going to get beat, and then there's the goofball that's got gloves on and a goofy hat and he's always causing problems, or that or whatever. Then there's one that's sort of sexy, you don't quite understand what the hell's going on there. and then you have the big villain, and then there's a bigger villain, and it all just sort of escalates. And there's a lot of screaming and histrionics. You don't really. Yes, of course, absolutely.
I
Yank
don't know who
Doodle, Dan
Roger.
and D.
I don't know who Roger Ramjet is. Actually, I never heard of him.
Roger, you don't know who Roger Ramjet is?
Not familiar with him.
Absolutely hysterical. You'll love it.
All
He
right.
holds up the solenoid robots. He holds up the hand like he takes a proton not that's underdog, but Roger Ramjet takes off and he powers up, and then he's holding the villain's hand over his head and he's punching him under the arm and all this other stuff.
Oh,
And
okay.
there are these Yank Doodle and Dan are with Roger Ramjet. You must watch it. It's very, very funny.
Okay. I'll have to watch. Is it sort of like Rocky Bullwinkle kind of level, or?
It's like Rocky and Bullwinkle to a certain degree, yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Have you ever
Oh,
seen the original series of Rocky and Bullwinkle
yeah.
where
Yeah.
they have red eyes and there's a laugh track?
Uh, maybe. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, the really early ones had Boris had red eyes, and Natasha was much more
Sexy.
borsky in her
Oh,
speech. And
okay.
then and there was a laugh track, and it was a lot of muted humor. It's really, really cool stuff.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check it out. I'm hearing echo again. It's driving me nuts.
Alan, the medication is not working.
I don't know what's going on. It's probably just on my end. Yeah.
I have a box open that I generally of golden age slabs that I'd be happy to show a few books if you wish. Or was
Yeah.
there something else you wanted to go into?
I'll show one book and then you can show yours. Okay. So I only have one. I only have one book in my unboxing, and then I'll let
Okay,
you go back, and then I'll go fix the audio as well. So
okay.
I'll show one, and then just so a little bit of back and forth. So this is my unboxing here. I've already taken it out of the box. This one's actually a pretty rare comic to find. It's Blackstone, the Magician. This is actually the second series. This is number one of the second series. So yeah, so this is from 1947. First appearance of the Happy Hooligans. Well, Hooligans. You know. So yeah, so it's kind of a key book as well. And it's a nice little tentacle monster going on with the girl in the red. So
Who's the artist?
artist is Don Cameron.
You know, Don Cameron did a lot of horror covers. He did a lot of good stuff. I think Don Cameron also was the one that did that space action that has that three cover set where it has the monster in the reflecting in the lenses of his glasses.
Oh yes, I know what one
Yeah,
you're
I
talking.
think
Are
that's
you
Don
talking about
Cameron.
Space Ace? Space Ace or something like that?
Space action.
Space Action. Oh yeah, Space Action. Okay, yeah, I have that
It's
somewhere.
got a rocket on the left side. It's got that really
Yeah, yeah,
cool
yeah. I know.
side.
It's like you can say his lips are all red and like he's got
Exactly.
that.
He's got big eyelashes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we got some other people here. One sec here. I just gotta keep up with the chat. So hi, Cliff, and
Hey, K-pop. Hi,
hey,
Katie.
K-pop. And see, he can hear a slight echo too. Okay, so okay, so yeah, so this is I don't know. So this one I got from a friend of mine who watches the show basically, and basically he gives me good deals on comics. So
Very
this was
nice.
yeah. So basically, whenever he wants to buy some other book, he'll sell me the ones that he cares a little less about. So I don't know what he's trying to buy. I think he's trying to buy a run of Sensation comics right now. So
That is a pretty good job.
yeah. So I think this one's pretty cool, and it has great wallets on the back. I need a new wallet actually. So maybe I can order one of these. They're only $1.98 too. It's not too bad.
Uh, yeah, the back ads are pretty amazing.
Yeah, this one has like a hula girl too. This one's kind of my type. That's the one I want.
And
So
is that an EC or an ME?
this is EC actually. I didn't realize it was EC. I thought Blackstone was ME, but maybe the second series is EC.
I
I
don't know
don't know.
who had. I mean, if old Blackstone was still alive, whether he was franchising or said his name as far as that his use of his name.
Yeah, he was
Because Super
actually a real
Magician is very
person.
well.
Yeah,
Because Super Magician is very much that way.
yeah. It's funny. I think I showed in a previous show I found an actual program from one of his actual shows.
Hmm.
I'll bring it when you show stuff. So
Okay.
you show stuff and then I'll actually show it, and it's pretty cool. It's actually a pretty cool program.
All right.
Yeah. So
You
okay.
want I should get my books?
Yeah. Do you have
Okay.
them hand? Do you have them handy or?
Of course.
Okay. So yeah. So yeah. So I don't know. I thought I kind of like these covers, and it's kind of cool that it is the first appearance of the Happy Hula Hands. Am I saying that right? Hula Hands? It's the one that I have the first Hula Hands, Happy Hula Hands #1, which is the first Moon Girl. So yeah, so I'm not sure if you're as into magic as I am. I really got into magic for a while. Like as a kid, I always tried to do magic tricks and stuff, but I was very bad at it. But I do have some cool tricks that always amaze people. And then I try, one thing I always liked about magic is it's not the trick that's great, it's the presentation that has to be great.
Well,
You
one
know, they,
hand's distracting while the other hand is doing what needs to be done.
so usually like one of the things that I like to do is like I have this one trick where basically it's like the dumbest trick in cards. It's like the dumbest card trick ever. Okay. And basically the way it's like basically I find your card in the deck. And the method to do it is like the dumbest, simplest, most obvious thing.
You
But
palm the card as it's handed back to you.
no palming, no actual skill required. That's how dumb this trick is. Okay. It's like the dumbest card trick ever. And then, but I try to present it in a way that makes it more interesting, where I try to like do a little bit of like, like almost like a spiritual thing where I like try to peer into the mind of the person that that they,
Performance art.
yeah, it's all performance. So, and what I'll do is so the way the card trick works is like actually you cut the deck, okay? And then you give them one deck, like half whatever they cut it wherever they want, and then you give them the deck to look at the card that's on top, okay? And then you put the deck back together, and then you shuffle it, and then you just literally go through the deck, and then you say, "Oh, is this your card?" And then they go, "Wow, that's my card. How did you ever do it?" Okay, but I try to do it a little bit cooler than that. Okay. Do you actually get how that card trick works, first of all?
No, I don't.
Okay, so the way it works is okay, so everybody watching, this is a magic trick we're all going to learn together. Um, so the way the trick works is it's actually a mathematical thing. So if you do that where you split the deck, okay, they look at the top card on their side, and you look at the bottom card on your side as the magic person. Okay, when you put the two decks together, now their card and your card are next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And statistically, if you shuffle, those cards are probably going to stay together. Nobody really shuffles that well where it's like totally like split up. So statistically, it's going to always be the card you looked at and then the person's card.
So you look for your card, then you flip the other one, and that's their card.
Exactly. Okay. But if you just do that, where you kind of show all the cards, then they go, oh, then they see their card. They probably see, oh, but what you do is actually you have to do a bit of misdirection to make it more interesting. So what you do is you go past their card, okay? And you go, oh, and then it looks like you're going to point to this random card that isn't their card. and you say, okay, I bet you this next card is going to be your card. And they know that you're totally wrong because you've already passed their card, right? And so the next card that I'm going to point to is going to be your card. And then instead of flipping the card, you point to the random card, the actual card that you know was theirs. And they go, wow, how did you do that? And it always gets entertainment. It's all
Well,
about
good.
presentation. Yeah. So what I'm saying is magic appeals to me because it's all about the presentation. I'm not usually good at it, but that's the one trick I have. I'm a one trick pony. So
Did you like the Mentalist, the Mentalist, whatever that with that had the one about in ancient, in Austria,
mhm.
where the
I know what you're talking about. There was it was called the Prestige. No, there was
no,
like
it was where the guy that played the Hulk that one
yeah,
time,
it's the
the
Prestige.
whiskey guy, and
It's either the Prestige or the Majestic.
no, Eisenstein is the name of the Eisenstein is the name of the magician.
I know, but he like makes a plant grow and stuff like that, and
Yeah, he has the orange tree.
yeah, the orange tree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the
That's
majestic. I can't. I think it's.
I
I
think it's the
think it's
prestige.
I can't think of the name of it.
No,
It's
I think it's the
terrible.
prestige. Okay. People in the chat agree with me. It's Edward Norton and it's the prestige. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna be right. Everyone in the chat, look it up. Edward Norton prestige. Okay. Um and Steve's like, no, it can't be. Can't be that. Okay.
But I know it isn't. I like the soundtrack, but it's the music. And I was thinking, I said, where he has the rubber ball and he puts it up here, and I can tell me which hand.
Mhm.
The guy squeezes his hand, and then he says, then he gets the ball and says, which hand was it in? And then he points to the hand,
Oh,
and
okay,
because
so
he
the
squeezed,
prestige is the one with Christian Bale. So there was the
that's
prestige,
correct.
and then there was another one which is the Majestic, I believe. There was
No,
like
it's like the Mentalist, or it's
the
the Ed Norton
um,
show.
what's the
I'll have
Edward?
to,
Come on, people. Come on, people. It's
here, just a second.
they came out at the same time, right? There was like the Prestige, which was the Christian Bale one, which was actually cool too. Where he basically had a twin, and they were like, "Did you see that one?"
Um,
And they were doing
uh,
the bullet catch, and the guy actually put a bullet. Oh, Majestic is the one with Jim Carrey. What is the
that's
one
right.
with? What is the one with? What is the one? The Illusionist. See, I was
The
going.
Illusionist. That's it.
Yeah,
The Illusionist.
yeah, that was a good.
Eisenstein.
Yeah, the Illusionist.
And the gal the gal that's with him is smoking hot. I can't. What's her name?
Good question. That's I forgot her name, but I know who you're talking about. I know what she looks like.
Where
That was
they
great. And then they become a couple. They're a couple. They run off together at the end of it.
and the guy that is
No,
the
it's not. Now You See Me. By the way. Yeah, it's Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel, and
Biel.
Rufus Sewell was and Eddie Marzin's in it. But it's Rufus Sewell is the villain, and a
Mm-hmm.
very good villain. And Paul Giamatti is the
Is
police
the
detective.
police detective is trying to figure it out. And he's like,
And the thing about it, the
Bleecker
you know,
didn't like it. I liked it. It was a great
oh,
movie.
I loved it, Bleak.
It was a
I
great
like
movie,
that
man.
movie. I like the
Great movie.
soundtrack, and I like the whole thing about it. But
I like the fact that he
everybody is, what do you
explains
like?
it. They actually explain how it all works, and it's actually, it is trickery. It is like it's about the
And
illusion.
there's this Ronnie J, or whatever his name is, that is the magician and card illusionist and stuff. And he
Mhm.
was there, that he helped in the James Bond movies. He helped him with the cards, how to do the cards, as far as that goes.
Mhm.
Ronnie J, or Ricky J, I think is his name.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. He's a card dude. He's like fast and stuff with the
I don't
cards.
even know if he's still alive, because he was getting kind of long in the tooth there. But
Mhm. But yeah.
so I got some. I now, are you going to get
Okay.
some books too?
That was it. That was the one I wanted to show. I have other stuff to show, but I just we're babbling about magic. I don't know why.
That's okay.
It's a magic and comic show. Okay. No, now you can show some books. Okay. I'm gonna show
For
his
magician.
quote. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Good Girl. That is pre-code Good Girls, so sometime between 47 and 54. The Marvel Comics, Atlas Comics, but Marvel Comics, with Stan Lee at the helm. When the superheroes died out, Stan Lee did a huge number, a couple dozen titles, all about good girls. And they're all these very, I could say they're like girl name titles. There are any number of them. One of them is Hetty Divine. And this is Hetty Divine, number 29, from October of 1948.
Oh, very nice.
And it's just really cute.
Yeah, I like those Hetty Divine ones. They're great.
And it says that the art is Harvey Kurtzman. Now I don't know if that's the cover, but he says Harvey
No,
Kurtzman.
I don't know if that's his. I don't know. Harvey Kurtzman. That doesn't really look like his style.
No, it isn't Ken Bald either, but it's because it's a different line than Ken Bald. If my eye does not.
Oh, we got another guest at the stage. So yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
How is it?
I wasn't sure if you were coming.
It's weird. That's what it is.
Okay,
I hope things are still on track, or no?
We started the discussion about
of.
you, where we were talking about the potential that you were
Obliquely,
talking about.
We didn't say nothing about who or why, but
yeah, we were basically saying we were talking about your videos today, basically.
Yeah. So I had a meeting with the seller, and you can imagine, like, he's been into comics for 50 plus years, and he's like, well, I just want to kind of hang on to maybe this and maybe one of those and a couple of these. And I'm like, oh,
well,
come
those
on,
are the
dude.
ones that you're going to want it, where the money is.
Yeah,
No, he's like, well, no, I'll just keep the low grade stuff, and I just want to hang on to a couple here. I probably just want to hang on to like maybe 100 books. And I'm like, well, then I'm going to have to take a video of what you keep. And he's like, well, no, you could just take a video of what's left. I go, no, I'll probably just take a video of what you keep, and that'll show me what's been taken out. He's like, well, it was kind of weird, but
oh well.
So we'll see. It's still being haggled and finagled. We'll see what happens. So,
and don't let them kind of overprice things. Like I was kind of looking at the grades, and there were.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. So,
yeah.
I might preemptively go down there and maybe start pulling all the high grade stuff and say, like, this is the stuff I want. You can pull out of this low grade stuff all you want, but I want to keep all the high grade stuff. So
yeah,
I think that's the best. That's the best route to go.
But some of the PCH stuff, some of the superhero stuff, even though it is low grade, there is some value there. There is some value there. You can be a little.
Well, I'm not totally passing on it, but I'm saying, like, the stuff that I really want to get for sure is like the high grade Archie, the high grade Action Comics, the high grade Detective, that kind of stuff.
I wasn't really that impressed by the Archies, by the way. In terms of the grade, they look.
Well, the other person was. So.
No, I mean, like from what it looked like, and like I'm not sure. Like, it's based on your video, right? So I'm only basing it on
my crappy video.
Well, yeah, you're really lousy, Brian.
Well,
thanks for coming.
Well, no, but okay. Here's my issue with your video, and I'll give you an example. So here's Brenda Starr.
I know it wasn't exactly perfectly centered. I'm sorry.
So the problem is, either you would do that or you do this, where you would kind of show everything but the spine.
Right.
So it was very hard to, like, usually the center of a book looks pretty solid for most times, unless there's like some tear pull or something really major. Usually
I would say maybe like 10% of the video is missing parts. Otherwise, most of the time I had pretty well centered on
I want to see. And the other edge, those two edges really matter, right? So one time you did show an Archie spine, and I could tell that it had a bit of that typical thing where it's like really like the edge is this big because it's not quite folded
Off
properly.
It,
registration, not
Yeah,
it's
registered.
and then
yeah,
and then there was like splits that were happening along it. So those are generally threes, maybe four at the max kind of level
yeah. No, he
grade.
has a lot of really nice like stuff that's like sevens and eights. So
Okay, so yeah,
Plus,
um,
so
it's hard to tell. Plus, it's hard to
that.
tell in a riffle, and the bags are
Mhm.
old, and that's what I was looking at them, and I was looking at the cover content. Was I looking, and you can't spend a whole bunch of time because you had a whole bunch you're trying to show,
Yeah, I
but
mean, you
right.
did a good job of showing
those
everything.
the bags are older, and that's always it's very deceptive. It's always better to have pull the book
Right.
out of the bag so you can
Yeah,
actually.
there's a lot of the like the innuendo covers too, where it's like, would you like a spoon? That one, or
Mhm.
the
Yep.
is Archie there yet? No, but he's getting close.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Those are all good
yeah,
ones. I mean, they have some value. Even in low grade, they have value. So
yeah. Well, those are the higher grade ones. So
yeah,
I
so
don't
you
know,
never know.
but yeah, I can only stay for a few minutes. I got to jump out, but I just wanted to hop in and say hi, and
Oh, thank you
sorry
for
that I
being
I'm
didn't
very
make it
glad you could
earlier.
come. Actually, yeah, it was good seeing you. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I hope that you get this deal. I hope that it works out where you. I just want to
yeah, I
protect
hope
you.
so.
That's
I
why
mean,
I'm being
it,
harsh to help you, like
no,
to
I
help you
understand
get.
totally.
Yeah.
I totally. And I was talking to the prospective buyer, and we were both like a little. I got a little bit of a knot in my stomach about like, is this going to work out perfectly or is it going to be bad? So we're yeah. It takes a lot of trust on all sides to make it work,
Yeah,
and then
and
I've
I
got
don't.
to
but the seller has to understand that if someone's going to take a big chunk, that if they're going to want to have books that can be sold in
Easily.
somewhat relative easy fashion, that are easy
yeah,
sells, that are good sells, to basically recoup the cost of the investment, and then the cream comes later when the
right,
ones that are perhaps not as good. Always with a collection, the best stuff goes first, and the lesser
right,
stuff goes last. So there has to be enough good stuff in the front end to justify having to hold on to the stuff that's lesser later on. And I think
right.
that he needs to understand that. And then you're also going to find out whether or not he actually really wants. He says he wants to sell, and then he doesn't really want to sell. That's an
Yeah,
entirely different
well,
thing.
so he's in his 70s. He's got a girlfriend in her 30s that says she's going to come move in and help him sell comics online. So he's like, well, I want to keep a box of things for her to sell online for me. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
no, you don't. You don't. And she's only wanting to come sell things online for you
Did,
because
did
she
he
sees
give
a
you a
cash cow. But
ballpark? Did he give you a ballpark of how much he wanted for the whole thing, and how much is in
so
there?
he thinks the estimated value was somewhere between 45 and 50,000 in the value of the books. And I don't know if I should disclose what he said. He said a number of what he'd be willing to take off of that, and then he said, if he keeps X amount, he'd be willing to
Don't
take.
say it.
The,
Don't say it. Just
so
wait till
yeah,
the
I'm not
deal is
saying a
done.
number, but there is a discount percentage that he's willing to. He sells to a lot of resellers, so he's used to taking a discount off of the price
Okay,
of the
that's
book.
good.
Well, if someone's
So
taken a big chunk, then the discount should be commensurately big to make it worthwhile. That he's basically getting all of that. Some of the stuff that's not so good is going to go too, and he will make his money on that as well. So you have to pay. If every book is a gem, that's the thing I don't understand. Let's say you have a 15 or 25 issue run, you put it together, it's a beautiful, every issue is like, a 9 or 9.2. And then it comes time to sell. And then they say, okay, I'll take the whole thing, but I need a 30% discount. And I go,
Mhm.
no, I won't do that because you're getting the benefit that I put this thing together. I'm not going to
right,
discount on beautiful books because you're buying all of them. I had to go to the trouble to put them together at expense. How is
Mhm.
that right? But that does happen a lot. Don't you guys have to admit that
Yeah.
does happen? Okay, I'll take them all, but I'm going to need okay, I'll
yeah.
go
And so
on.
what he's wanting to do is he wants to add up the total value of all the dreck and the great stuff. And so I'm thinking it might even be better for the buyer and myself to get together and just pull the very best cream of the crop stuff out and say make an offer on that, rather than if he's wanting to get $5 for the $5 book and then take a percentage off of it it's not even worth picking it up. It's probably worth
No,
just
Yeah,
taking all
yeah.
the stuff that's, you
no,
know, yeah.
right.
Like the question is, how much is there? Like, how big of a collection would you say this is? Is it 1,000 books? Is
It's
it 10,000
maybe
books?
9 short boxes, 8 or 9 short boxes.
8 or 9 short boxes.
2,000 books then?
Yeah, you got 150 books to a box. So
So like maybe 2,000 books.
1350, whatever.
yeah, if it
19,
was 10
no,
if it was 10
60.
boxes, it'd be 1,500 books, right? So
So it's
Right.
like
yeah,
you're
it's
saying
like
nine
1,200
short
books.
boxes.
12, I said
Yeah.
1,200 books. Yeah.
Okay, so 1,200 books. Now
Yeah.
let's do some basic math. Basic math. Like there's a
So
lot
no,
of Drek.
we figured it out earlier when I was talking to the prospective buyer, and he's like, that it maths out to like the guy is saying that on average the books are
It's
worth
$40.
$40 a piece. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's like, if that's the case, and then we started looking at like, okay, let's say this book is $1,000. Okay, well then now the other ones can be worth less. Okay, this book is worth $500. Well, now the other ones can be worth less. And so it was kind of like, you know.
So I gave you an estimate of the one short box you showed at the very beginning, the PCH books. I estimated that to be $3,000 to $4,000 worth of books. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and that's probably one of the better boxes, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean the DC box was pretty good, and actually
Yeah, the DC box is good too.
the prospective buyer thinks that the Archie box is probably one of the best boxes.
So he has a line on the Archies. I think that he likes them, and I think that they are rather uncommon. I like
and
those laugh.
the grades
The
were
laugh.
rather high in a lot of the early
The
ones.
laugh
So
covers were pretty good. There were several books in there
Yeah,
I
there
thought
was some
were
nice
really
stuff in
cute,
there.
and I
I
liked
saw,
them.
yeah.
yeah.
But I got to run, guys. I'm
Okay,
sorry
Brian.
to show up
So
and
good
dash,
luck.
and but
Good luck.
No,
but yeah,
thank you
if
for coming.
everybody who's in the chat, if you want to watch those Golden Age books
Go
videos,
into
I'm putting them
Bigby's
out
channel.
like every 5 or 6 hours. I'm putting a new one out up until I get them all out. So
Yeah,
I'll talk to you guys
definitely
later,
check
though.
that out.
Okay, Brian, take
All
Thanks
right.
care.
for coming.
Have a good night.
You
See you
too.
later.
Okay, bye. All right. Well, I'll
Well,
make you this.
that makes a lot more sense to me. That makes a lot more sense to basically cull the good stuff, and if there's going to be the rest of the other stuff, then an appropriate discount will have to happen. It's not like everything is beautiful and every book is desirable. It's just not the way it is. That's not the nature of how when you buy a collection. And if it's just there's a lot of Drek, you should be able to pick up more of stuff like that. And so sometimes, and more often than not, with a collection, there will be stuff that's good stuff, and there will be stuff that's not as good as stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about the collection that we saw is the era that it was.
Yes.
So even the Drek is
Well, it's
barely Drek.
unusual. Yeah, it's from
it's
47, 48 through 54, 57 through there. As I was just saying here a little while ago, that's a really hard era. The superheroes
Yeah.
are pretty much gone, and they've got good girl stuff. They have pre-code horror. They've got crime and some other stuff. There are westerns too, but I don't know.
The Westerns isn't valuable at all. I can
The
tell you right
westerns
now.
have no value. I was just going to say the westerns just generally don't have any value at all. If you
Yeah.
like westerns, you're sitting pretty because you can get as much as you want.
So he showed a couple Westerns that I was like, if it was just a slightly different issue. Like he showed some Tim Holtz. Now in Tim Holtz, later issues
Ghost
had
Rider.
Ghost Rider. So that could be something. But it was early issue. Didn't have Ghost Rider. It's like
Yeah,
you just missed the
I
boat
saw.
on that one.
I thought of that. I thought of that very thing. I said, "Well,
Mhm.
there's a Tim Holt, but that ain't the right Tim Holt."
That's not the right one. So
There were
it's
some
like,
Roy Rogers and
again,
there were
not
some
much
other guys
value.
that were from the early 50s. Some of them, like late 40s, like 1950, 51. And those cowboys and buckaroo people is not much going on.
Unless there's an inappropriate log on the cover.
That, of course, is high art.
That is high art and very
That is,
valuable.
it's a good book. Biggie picked that for our intro for the Comic Collectors Club, and they have you showing some
that.
great Golden Age book, and I'm holding Rifleman number
awesome
10 with Mark holding Paws Wood.
I thought that was awesome. I was like, oh, that's a good one to pick for Stephen. Yeah.
So anyway, I got a couple more.
Okay, let's get you big again, and then you can show more books there.
Okay. This is a really cute Good Girl book, and it's a pretty tough book to find. It's from a run called Hickory, and it's from Quality Comics. And it's the joke about the guy, the one guy's looking and making a question, and the other guy is looking at something completely different from the cute girl. He says, "Think she'll make it, Hickory?" And Hickory says, "I don't think so, Pa. She's too doggone fat." And she's going, "I'm fat." It's just a fun. And on the back,
sorry.
And on the back, you have there were two kinds of cough drops growing up that we had. We had Smith Brothers, and we had Ludens. And Ludens was the better flavored cherry, and Smith Brothers were doing a pinch. I never thought much of the licorice one, but it's the two guys with these beards, and it has the miracle medication Pepsin or whatever is in the thing, and all it is really is sugar candy is what it is. And instead of saying only 2 an hour or only 1 every 2 hours or whatever it is, it's take as often as necessary. It's a box of candy.
Oh wow! You just take it until if you keep on taking them, eventually you'll get better.
That's right. Your teeth will be gone, but you'll be getting better.
Yeah.
But this has this screwy chug-a-motor that sounds like a real motorcycle. And so guys would put, suppose I've never seen it. Saw this. I've never seen one. I never saw one on a bike. The way we got bikes to sound like motorcycles is we took a fresh deck of cards with wooden clothespins, and the fenders would have these arms that would run back to hold the frame, and then you would use the clothespins, and you would attach the card and put it in the spokes, and have like 8 or 9 cards. And when you're riding along, it would make a lot of noise until then the cards would get all kind of whiffed out, and then it wouldn't sound so good, and the cards were toast. But that was fun.
Yeah, we did the same actually.
I hope so. Here is a timely. This is the Human Torch number 13. This comes from the collection of Frank Bruner, who is a Bronze Age artist who did Doctor Strange, among others, and he did a lot of Howard the Duck stuff, fancy Howard the Duck stuff. But this was one of his books. It's Human Torch number 13.
Oh, nice.
And Human Torch 12
is this a recent pickup, or is this like these are?
No, I've had it for a while.
Oh, okay.
I have a few from when Bruner's collection came up on CBCS, and it came on my comic shop. The Human Torch, the red one is the reverse, red cover, and that's the one where the Human Torch is actually burning the Japanese torturer's arm off. And she's a redhead, and so she's like on this edge here, coming the other way. So I did an article for the comic book marketplace called Bookends, and I had both of them, but that was when I still would sell, and I sold them. But anyway, my 13 was off register, so like the snakes in the pit here that the gal, the frail, is being lowered into. I like the green dressed blonde better than I like the blue dressed redhead. I think she's cuter, and they got all these Japanese guys with lots of teeth having problems. The Submariner's looking through a porthole at the action. 20 pages of the Submariner, 20 full pages of Submariner's story in this.
Wow.
So, but the snakes in the pit were all off register, so they looked sort of like this amorphous color pit. It didn't really look like snakes. It was just completely off. And then on the back, they said, "Get this bomber and free secret bomb site."
Nice.
4 battleships and 4 tanks included. And this is from, this cover is from the fall of 1943. The war is in the pit of the war. Thanks, Matt. I think Bruner is underrated too. I like his Doctor Strange his Marvel Premiere 3. I think he starts it. I think he's excellent. That particular book, cover and interior art, is just damn good. So there's that one. Back to Good Girl and Timely, and this one is called Art and Story by Basil Wolverton,
Oh, nice.
and it's called
Oh, the
Joker.
Joker. Mm.
It's a 3.5, but and the reason why is I think the top corner there is gone.
Yeah.
The top corner is
Well,
gone.
it presents really well. Other than that,
But it's the colors on this has got a lot of times these have lots of creases in the cover and what have you. And the poor Marine is going to do all the dishes while the army guy takes the girl and off he goes.
so is that actually Basil Wolverton cover?
I don't think so, because it doesn't look like Basil.
It doesn't look
It
like
doesn't look like it says Basil Wolverton art, but that's not the cover. I think the bullpen, somebody in the bullpen at Marvel did that. This one was one that Alan passed on when there was an auction on My Comic Shop, and they had this was a very famous science fiction cover, and it was produced by Russ Heath, and it's Journey into Unknown Worlds number 36, but it's actually number 1.
Yeah, no, that's really great. I'm still trying to find a copy. It's okay.
There was one copy that was a high grade copy. I think that went for some huge amount of money, as I remember, Alan. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I just liked. I like Russ Heath's art a lot. I really do. I had a set of Sea Devils, which was Russ Heath stuff, and he did World War I stuff with planes as well, and he was very good at drawing them too. Kubert was real good at that, and so was Russ Heath. Russ Heath also was responsible for a lot of.
I think that's a good question.
Torchy's hotter.
Torchy's
hotter.
Yeah.
And Gil Fox was the one that did the majority of the 6 covers of Torchy.
Yeah.
Gil Fox was the other guy, and he drew a pretty girl too. But Bill Ward's had like that Untamed Love number 1. I may have to pull that out. That Untamed Love number 1 that Bill Ward did, and those covers that he did for Quality. The naughtiness factor just started to appreciate and get bigger and bigger.
He really liked his naughty stuff
as he went, and his style anyway. But so Journey into Unknown Worlds,
very nice.
And on the back we have Daisy BB guns, which is of course what you're supposed to have.
Of course.
And there's Red Rider.
Kids have too many eyes. It's always good to take 1 or 2 out.
But this one is from of course Atlas Comics, from September of 1950. And this one we were just talking about today. Matt Baker is one of the best good girl artists, arguably the best good girl artist, or regarded as such. His work, his ability to do the Form Divine, and when he was working for Fox, all the Jungle stuff that he did, Phantom Lady that he did, and then later on into St. John, where he did an enormous amount of stuff. But when he was doing work for Fox, he was working for the Iger House, and the Iger House also were commissioned and were hired to do artwork for Fiction House Comics. And one of the titles that he worked on, and his very first work, was in Jumbo Comics. And this is the first issue that has Matt Baker art in it.
Oh yes. Well, it's also the very first time Matt Baker did art in a comic. So yeah, that's
so anyway, but this one, and then of course it's Charles Atlas at the beach. So that's my chunk. Do you want to take, and then I'll
sure.
Put these back, and I can get some more.
Yeah. 1 sec here. Wait, how do I do this? 1 second. I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. Got to click the right buttons. Okay. So yeah. So I got a little stack to show.
Okay.
I actually have a box that I'm kind of like debating about how to rearrange it. So I'm just grabbing some books out of it that
will make you big.
Yeah, I'll make myself big, and I'll show some cool books.
Okay.
So these books have a lot of Wally Wood art. Okay. Wally Wood and think I'm trying to remember who some of the other guys are, but it's Strange Worlds. So this is like a sci-fi comic.
Joe Orlando.
Yeah, I was thinking Joe Orlando, but I'm not sure. He did some of them, but I think this is Wally Wood, for example.
Great monster cover.
Yeah, great monster cover. I like the girl too. Sort of similar to Planet Comics in the respect that it had both good girl and sci-fi covers. So that's kind of why I gravitated to them. That's number 3. And I hear my echo. I hear an echo again.
It's you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Okay, and then this is number 4. This is a Wally Wood again. You got the girl, girl in the dress, and you got the guy coming through the door, and the people in the tubes over here.
That's probably one of the very best ones right there.
Yeah, I think it is. It's kind of my favorite cover of the run. There are some really cool ones though. And this is like a robot one. This always remind me of Rocket Sock'em robots. The robots,
Oh yes.
Where they beat each other up. They kind of have that weird head. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a good one. I always like bubble helmets too. So this is number 19. These aren't in order, as you can see. But I'm going to show you the whole Strange Worlds collection here. This is number 18, I believe. Another bubble helmet one. I don't get it, though. They're actually inside their spaceship, and yet he's firing his gun, which would be inside their spaceship. So I don't quite get how that works, but I thought that was interesting. It looks like they're inside their spaceship, yet he's shooting his gun. Does that make sense?
Yes. Because they drew it that way.
Yeah, then you're just going to shoot yourself. But okay.
That's right. I'm good with it.
Okay, as long as it makes sense. Okay. And then, yeah, apparently you can survive in space with cleavage. Yeah, a cleavage suit is actually one of the best space suits known to man. Then we got Strange Worlds, another Strange Worlds, number 7. This one kind of reminds me of King Kong for some reason. I don't know. Like the monster kind of breaking the ship here. Okay, that was my wife that just sort of walked in the room as I'm showing stuff. So, and this is actually one of the classic covers. This has been homaged a bunch of times. Actually, Bruce Timm did homage to this, and I think where you got the monster coming in through kind of like the portal, and you got the girl and stuff, and the bubble helmets and stuff. And another Wally Wood. That's like the way the woman's, dress is done. I don't know who the alien reminds me of. The alien reminds me of somebody. Maybe a former employee or something. I don't know. But I don't know. Reminds me of somebody or another. Yeah. So it's a really cool one. That's I think that's number 5. Yeah.
Where did you get that one?
This one I actually bought from my comic shop. It is in really rough shape. Oh, you did the bell. So every time we say my comic shop, there's a bell. So that's, yeah. But this one is a really low grade. It's a 1.0. And the reason it's a 1.0 is, look, if you can see the spine, there is no spine. There is no spine.
Spineless.
But it does present incredibly well for a very bad spine book. That's why I picked it up. It was a great price. I picked it up because of the price.
Now, Wally Wood did that. If you look at that cover for just a second.
Oh, yeah.
When he drew that frail with the monster about to get his hooks into her.
Yeah.
The way he drew her to begin with was without...
Probably nude. Yeah.
She was naked underneath that yellow dress that she had. And I
Mhm.
think that the editor said, that's really a beautiful cover, but you're going to have to put something over her trademark. So they had to put that kind of gold shield down
The
there
gold thing down
to
there, yeah.
basically, which is a screwy device for what she is wearing, but nevertheless, it's so incongruous for the rest of it that one is actually my favorite cover of the run.
Yeah, the Gossamer would be a little bit too, revealing if it was.
I for that, but I admire him for trying because that is a beautiful,
So
beautiful
this is
cover.
my second favorite cover of the run. I do like the other one better. I just like the people
The
in the
test tube
tubes
ones when
and
they're shooting the rockets up, yeah, but that's a
yeah, I kinda
beautiful. They're both those two are just great.
yeah, they're the best. And this is a bondage. That was a bondage cover. Now, Strange World actually survived into the Silver Age, but it didn't survive long because it got really boring fast. And you can see this is like how
Wow,
see how it's kind of drabby. It's a war thing. It's a little bit drab. It's got the big
kind of
code.
drab.
Look how big the stamp
So
is.
that's from 50. Is that from 56 then?
This is like yeah, 56, 55, 56 era. So
Who did the
if it's
cover? It says right there on you by the spine, down bottom.
uh is it Bill Everett? Oh no. It's I think it's yeah, it's I think it's Kinsler.
Raymond
Everett,
Kinsler?
yeah, Raymond Everett Kinsler. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I
I
think
do.
that's yeah.
Which
He
is a
actually
real departure for him because he does Good Girl covers really
he
well.
and he does amazing covers actually.
Yeah.
He actually was commissioned to do five presidents uh portraits like when they were sitting presidents. So he's actually a portrait artist as well. Um so and then we got this is the so those that was my Strange Worlds collection. Now we're getting to Strange Mysteries. So this is Strange Mysteries with the eyes and stuff. I don't know. These were from Superior, which is a Canadian comic company, and these were kind of cool pre-code horror
Now, was
comics from
Strange
Canada.
Mysteries in the States and that was the Canadian version? Or is that the
No,
Strange
no,
Mysteries is a Canadian book
it's a
title?
Canadian book. Canadian book. So I have a bunch of Strange Mysteries. This is another Strange
I think you
Mysteries.
just got that one.
Yeah, this is from Heritage.
Yeah.
Heritage. So I like this one. I don't actually like this guy's face, to tell you the truth. I didn't like the way it looks a little cheesy, but I like the girl. I think the
Well,
girl.
the green and the yellow, it's a striking cover. And the red dress gal, the red dress blonde, you know, disheveled.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of like that one. Um, and they had a bunch of titles actually. This is another one of theirs.
Ooh, wow.
Mysteries, Weird and Strange.
That's nice.
I always like these ones where they don't really show the bad guy; they just do the shadow.
Yeah, you
You
let your
got
mind put it together.
and you got the girl kind of reacting to it, and I think this is a good reaction. I've seen other ones where they have the girl reacting, and she's like doesn't really react. It's like I'm slightly scared, maybe. Um, but this one, she's really, you can see like actually the way the eyes are done is really quite well done. I mean, she looks shocked, right?
In the movies, in the monster movies of the
Twinkling,
50s,
yeah.
Creature of the Black Lagoon, Julia Adams, when she's looking the other way, and then they show the monster creeping up behind her and getting closer
Mhm.
and closer, and all this goo is coming off of it. It's getting closer to threaten her, and when she turns, and then her eyebrows go up, and then she screams, and
Mhm.
she's looks very similar to that face on that cover because she really did a good job. Julia Adams did a lovely. She lived a long time. She was in Perry Mason, but great
Mhm.
actress and Hugh Marlowe and what have you
Mhm.
for that one. It was pretty good, and Whit Bissell was in it too.
All names I'm not super familiar with. Sorry.
I'm just it's trivia because I
Yeah,
watched so
you're
much
different era.
TV as a kid that the
So the thing
same
is,
actors, Warner Brothers,
yeah,
right?
the funny thing is, I watched a lot of those movies. I've actually seen the movies, but it was in an era where I didn't really remember, like, didn't focus on who are the actresses, who are the people in it. Like, if it was like Humphrey Bogart or somebody, somebody of that caliber, I would,
Hmm.
or Betty Davis or something like that, I would remember those people.
Hmm.
but not the more
Obscure.
obscure ones. Yeah. So just different era.
Piper Laurie, Lorraine Day.
Yeah.
You know, I
I
mean,
know those
Mr.
names
Luck,
actually.
Mr. Lucky is so good. Cary Grant and
Mhm.
Lorraine Day was married to Leo DeRocher, who was the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he
Mhm.
was the most incredibly jealous guy. So when she'd have these love scenes with Tyrone Power, they had to kick him off the studio. They barred him from even being on the studio.
Oh, because he was so
Matter
money.
of fact, the same thing happened in that Jack Lemmon movie with Verna Lisi when she comes out of the cake and then he marries her. She can't speak English, but the love is there, and Verna Lisi looks absolutely spectacular. And they have this thing. It's true.
Actually, nowadays I find there's like maybe only a small handful of actors that can actually act. Like,
Mhm.
like it's the talent is really lacking nowadays, I find.
Do you
But
know, I made this comment the other day, and that is, uh, in the old days, what you had an overarching editorial control, like
mhm,
MGM or Warner Brothers or Paramount or RKO,
mhm,
Columbia Pictures. You knew pretty much what you were going to get, and the big boss and the big directors, they had a certain style. Like MGM movies were very very specific how they
sure.
were. David O. Selznick and Jack Warner and how they did that, and where they cut corners and where they when they didn't cut corners and things like that. But there was a control factor. So, like when DC started with Julius Schwartz in the early 60s, Donenfeld
Mhm,
was before that. But Julie Schwartz brought in the science fiction, and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby had all that bombast and all that soap opera that they brought into it, which DC didn't have. DC didn't have soap opera. And they
mhm.
didn't have the connection with the teenage kids with teenage problems. And Stan Lee was lousy with teenage problems because he had an entire decade doing girl romance books with nothing but romance soap opera
Yeah,
problems.
so basically just made that those
Made a
romance
soap opera
books
with
into
superheroes, right?
superheroes. Yeah, exactly.
I'm upset. I don't want to be with you. You have to be with me. Well, what about the
Hey,
Submariner? He's so
it,
handsome.
it,
Hi, Big. But now, when if the writers have control of their writing and the artists have control of their art, and so
mhm.
there's no directorial,
Well, you
uh,
get
uh,
like
overarching editorial
it's not
control.
homogeneous. It's not
And
homogeneous.
I
It's like
pointed out that there are writers that think they can draw and they can't, and there are artists that think they can write and they can't. It's the
mhm,
combination of the two. It's like Lennon and McCartney.
mhm,
Lennon had the edge and McCartney had the sweet, and you put the two together and it was magic. It was lightning in a bottle. But
mhm.
if you don't have that, if you're just basically relying on what you're doing, it just doesn't work as well. And that's what's happened. And the person that really started the thing about owning their own characters, and at Marvel Comics is when it happened. Do you remember who it was that basically broke the back at Marvel and lawsuits and all this over characters?
Oh, okay. You're talking back to Howard the Duck again.
Howard the Duck and Steve Gerber.
Yeah, yeah.
And he ruined the character because there were all this litigation, then they couldn't do anything with it. And then the thing died, it was so popular and then it died. And I loved Howard the Duck to begin with.
Well, actually, it had much more deep impacts than just the one character. It set up a chain reaction where all of a sudden all the artists were now saying, "Hey, I own
He
this
broke
character or that
he
character."
started it. No, they that he was the one that stood up and really really went for it. It's different. Neil Adams stood up for Siegel and Schuster to get some credit for Superman to get some money out of him. And
Mhm,
that was so wrong. That's part of it because they basically were, I won't say destitute, but the millions of dollars that were made on Superman they were absolutely screwed out of their brainchild, and it was
mhm,
lousy. And then all these various things came up near the end of their lives where they finally got it. But Schuster and Siegel and Schuster in particular was
mhm.
particularly lousy.
Well, I mean, that's what they were talking about when a lot of these Marvel movies came out, and they were saying, "Well, these movies are making billions of dollars, and the creator like they might
Squat.
get yeah like I forgot which creator it was. They literally got like a ticket to come to the red carpet event.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. Well, enjoy that $1 billion.
But I thought they liked the story of Springtime for Hitler. Yeah, did you like that? The producers, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but there is that balance, though. Like, if all of a sudden you give too much value to the writers and the creators, then what ends up happening is, yeah, yeah. I was going to say Jim Starlin. That's the one I was thinking about. Um, it's one of those things where it can also derail the whole thing too.
Yeah.
There has to be a critical balance. I'm not sure what it is, but there has to be a balance.
If
And
it's a popular, if it's an unpopular character, it doesn't matter. If it's a
mhm.
popular character and there's money, if there's money in movies, or if the book is popular and selling like crazy, once there's money involved, then there's going to be, unless there's a clear understanding, there's going to be a squabble.
Well, and a lot of the time, it's like when they make a movie, sometimes they'll take a character that I don't want to say like a Thanos is like an obscure character, because if you're a comic book person, you would know Thanos. But to the general public, who is Thanos? Like, Thanos doesn't mean
He's
anything
a,
to me.
he's a science fiction Lex Luthor.
Exactly. So it's like nobody knows who Thanos is except for the comic people. And
Yeah.
now through the movies, everybody knows Thanos.
Mhm.
And so who gets credit for that? Is the writer who created this really awesome character, or is it the
Casting of
studios?
Josh Brolin.
What?
The casting of Brolin as Thanos, right?
Yeah, I mean, or is it the actor that made it, like, his thing, or it's similar to like Robert Downey Jr. when he made Iron Man
Iron Man. Yeah.
a household name.
Hmm.
Before that, Marvel Iron Man was kind of a B tier hero, right? He wasn't
Iron
like
Man was pretty big. Don't I
I'd
grew
say
up with
B
him.
tier though. I wouldn't say like A tier. I'd say B tier. I'm not
Well,
saying
I don't
C
know
tier. I'm saying
if
B tier.
Spider-Man is the A tier and the Fantastic Four are the A tier, he's right there right there next
Yeah,
to
he's next
Thor
level.
and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Even Hulk was kind of sliding a few
Well,
times as well.
he only went 6 issues, and they put everybody, they
Well, I
let
mean,
Ditko take
but
a
in terms of
spin.
household names.
They had Kirby taking a spin, and they had good writing. Stan Lee did everything he could. They did, and it just did not sell. And it's a business, and if it's a business, you've got to make money. It's got to sell, and they chopped it. That's
Mhm.
why now the Hulk is awesome, because it did, there aren't as many of them, and for the Marvel zombies, you got to have Hulk 1 is a big book. There's a lot of AF-15s, but there and
Mhm.
I mean, there are a lot of people that want AF-15. So the supply is still for the demand, right?
Good afternoon, Matt Spidey.
Mad Spidey.
Oh, and we got a question: Captain America or Thor? I don't.
Well, I think Captain America and Thor are almost on an equal footing. Captain
Yeah,
America,
I'm
of
saying.
course, has the golden age from which to fall back on, but in the Silver Age, when Captain America arrived, Thor was bigger. I
Yeah.
remember that. Captain America was really cool, but Thor
Mhm.
was a huge star at Marvel, big time. Because the
Yeah.
mythology, a lot of kids, we all grew up with mythology character as well. We knew all of them. For Norse gods, we knew the Roman gods, the Greek gods, and all that. It was one of the things. And you knew dinosaurs too. You knew dinosaurs and you knew mythology. Those were things when I was a kid that everybody knew those things.
But I think of 70s and 80s, Captain America was kind of bigger at that point, where they started had the little TV series and like a little bit of
Thor,
Captain America stuff,
Thor. I mean,
and
you
there
have
was
a
no
big
Thor
character.
stuff, so that's why.
You have a big character, and then after they basically, I won't say run out of plots, but they've done pretty much everything.
Mhm.
The thing about Thor that always bothered me, and of course that everything has to be so that it's heroic. And they
Mhm.
had the thing with Jane Foster and is he's Thor, if he's Don
Yeah,
Blake,
yeah, yeah,
it just Stan Lee is just, it just smells of
yeah.
Stan
Yeah,
Lee.
Stanley thing.
But the thing was that Loki was too powerful. Loki could reach down from Asgard, and be able to foul everything up for people. and then he could fool Odin, and they'd fool Odin long enough for Thor to get in real trouble, and they take his powers away, and it was all just a bunch of stuff, right?
Hmm.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
it's just
so
he's too powerful.
but
That's
and
why it
what
was
you
so, that's one last thing. That's why it was so cathartic in the Avengers when the Hulk Loki's making this,
oh yeah,
he's
and he's just
monologuing
back.
and he's this stupid god, and then he just beats the hell out of Loki. That felt so good. I loved
That,
that part.
that was a pretty cool scene. And actually but I felt like they kind of went too far with it afterwards. After not that part, but afterwards, like when they did season 1 of Loki. Have you watched that?
No,
Oh man, it's like they basically castrated Loki. It's like the most painful. But season 2 was actually better. Actually, it's weird.
I haven't
Um,
seen that. I won't watch She-Hulk because I don't.
oh, yeah,
You're
don't watch She-Hulk. If you like She-Hulk, don't watch She-Hulk.
I won't do that.
It's like one of those things. If you like it, don't watch it. Trust
If
me.
you like it, don't watch it. I understand that. Not
Yeah.
so. Are you through with your books? Do you have more books to show? Or
I
I have
do
some
have
to
more
show.
books. I had actually one more I was going to show.
Okay.
I'll just show it here. I was just going to show another. This is, and you're gonna. I got to remember. Like in my mind, I have two pronunciations. And I'm going to mess it up, and you're going to be like, "Oh, it's that," and then I'm like, "Oh yes, I know." Uh, Pharrell, or is it,
Pharrell
Farrell?
with Farrell. You mean a Farrell
Yeah,
comic?
Farrell comic. Yeah, it's Farrell.
Farrell. Farrell.
Yeah,
Farrell.
Farrell. Okay,
Farrell.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
The easiest way is like think of a
Yes, yes,
wildcat.
yes, yes,
Feral
yes, yes.
cat
Farrell,
is a
Farrell, Farrell.
feral comic.
Yes, I just had both in my head, and I knew one was wrong. I just didn't know which one. Um,
That's
and
all
I
right.
and I knew that if I say it, once I say it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, you said it wrong," and like I'll be
No,
tortured for
I
the next.
wouldn't do that to you.
I'll be tortured for the next month or two, maybe lifetime. Um, so, but I just
No,
thought this
it
was
comes.
cool. It's got a little girl in the test tube, which is something I always want to do. So yeah, you learn something new about me. Okay.
Did you did you did you get that? Was it the Chesler book that has the guy that's on the cover with the test tubes across, but the interior art and the interior of the book is
Yes.
different?
Yeah.
I just think that cover is so amazing. The faces on that cover, and then there's that other one with the floating heads.
Yeah. It's a
The
great one.
the tide. I mean, the tide has gone out on that book. It's like Cinderella Love 25 or Chamber of Chills 19. I mean,
I was just so happy to get it, and I got it for a great price because it was a married comic. Nobody actually cares about the interior. Like I've seen like 0.5s where like it's missing like 10 pages in the interior, and it would sell for like $1,000. The fact that it's married, I don't really care. I'll find
now
a
but the interior book is not the book that was supposed to be in it, right? What
no,
is
it's
the
a
interior?
different. It's a different. It's just a different issue. It's like maybe then like 2 issues later or something like that.
Okay.
Somebody switched it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the other like a coverless copy, which should be actually not very valuable because it's the cover that makes that book.
Absolutely.
It's not
Have
the
you seen the
interior.
interior of that book?
Yeah, it's pretty mundane.
Okay.
It's nothing too exciting. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's not as cool as the cover is, I guess, the best
Understood.
way to say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I got some.
Okay,
I have
let's do
some.
it. Let's do it.
We're back to Marvel and Good Girl.
Okay.
And this one is called, the girl's name is Rusty. And this is from November of 1947. I believe, and it's my opinion, that 1947 is probably the high water mark
For good
for
thing.
Golden Age Good Girl. And then it winds up and through 47 and maybe a few into 48. But then all the words start coming in. And I don't know why that started, but it did. And then it would be more hit and miss. But 47, for the most part, is really, really the sweet spot. And then after the things sort of, there was too many words and what have you, then the girl in the red dress basically it sort of stopped being just with Good Girl and it fanned out. It metastasized into it's a bad word.
Make it sound
into
much worse.
science fiction, into westerns, into horror, PCH. everywhere. She
But
was in
really,
space.
in 47, Good Girl was its own category of comics.
Exactly.
After
Precisely.
that, it was like mixed in with everything else.
It was the Good Girl basically got spun in with everything else because Good Girl is nice, but they relied on the other theme that was there to help carry with the sex in addition to it. But this
Yeah.
is a particularly, I think, just a really beautiful, beautiful cover.
Yeah, I
And
actually almost bought that one recently. A really trashed version of it, by the way. So I was like, I'm not gonna buy it. I'll pass on it. But it's a great cover. I love that cover.
it's just, she is so lovely.
And
The
was
face.
that from the like Comic Collector Geek shopping cart on my comic shop? Ding. Or was that eBay buy?
I believe this one was actually my comic shop buy.
Okay, yeah. So that was the one that was in my cart. So yeah. Just saying. Just
Okay.
saying.
And then you get on the back. If you order, you can get the atom bomb patch
Oh,
and
that's
a
cool.
German general uh, uh, staff patch, swastikas and all kinds of stuff. And then they have some of the U.S. insignia and what have you, and the Allies, where you're collect and put them in. But rare army patch for free. The atom bomb and the German general staff. And what is this for? All wool felt cutout initials, and you just put it together, put them on your Letterman's jacket or whatever you're going to do. Anyway, but this is again November of 1947, and it definitely has Ken Bald overtones
Oh
to her
yes,
face.
definitely. And the style
Very,
of the
very
legs
much
and
looks like
stuff.
Ken
Oh,
Bald. And Ken Bald, Stan Lee said, was his best character artist that he had. Ken Bald was. And Ken Bald was a great guy, and he was a war hero too.
I'll be right back. Okay, so you just
Sure,
keep on talking. I'll be right back.
sure. Alan had showed some of the Avon Strange Worlds. One that is very similar to Strange Worlds is called Rocket to the Moon. And although it looks very much like Wally Wood, I mean, at Avon, and in the bullpen of Avon when they're all working together, and what looks good and how does it look. This, I believe, is a Joe Orlando cover, and it is Joe Orlando cover and art. And it is the trope. First of all, you've got the girl in the red dress, although it's sort of like a red harem dress. Um, the alien coming in and what have you, and the man is in all of his protective gear with his bubble helmet and everything else. And the other the main the attack alien is one doesn't have anything, but the guys behind him do. They have the helmets. But it's the colors on this particular, the transition of colors from purple all the way down to gold, and then her and being in the red and what have you. Just a very, very nice, and it's somewhat risque there. She doesn't have the metal patch like Plenty O'Toole had in that other Strange Tale, or the Strange Worlds. Very nice. Um, we were talking about Everett Raymond Kinsler for that war cover that you saw that looks so bland. The Alan was showing. Here is one. This is a one shot that Avon did that features Everett Raymond Kinsler cover, and it's Phantom Witch Doctor. And here is the gal in the negligee. And the thing that is rather intriguing is the moon is yellow with green stripes on it. Very interesting looking moon. And the guy's eyes, if you can see, are skulls. He has skulls in his eyes and all kinds of skulls underneath him, and he's putting the hoodoo on this poor gal. It's a number one, but it was a one shot. And on the back, Uncle Bernie's Fun Shop, where you can buy now for low prices a real slot machine, a little girl, a cowboy doll, a Mr. Peanut Bank, and a mystery fishbowl. Screwy stuff. Low prices. How much are they? The little girl is the doll is $3.98. The one-armed bandit is only $1.98, I bet, or $1.50. Bet you that's quality. The fishbowl's $2.98, and the Mr. Peanut Bank is $2.98. COD, where you could basically say, sure, I'll take it. And then they show up to the door, and then you have to pay. Then after a while, they finally had to say no COD. Another company that is really, really a good one, and it's hard to collect, is MLJ prior to Archie. The superheroes that MLJ had was the Shield and the Hangman and the Black Hood. And they had Rusty, and they had, can't remember who else was the sidekicks. But Irv Novick created the Shield. And the Shield, whose costume actually looks like a shield, basically, I think that there was a squawk about Captain America's shield in Captain America #1 because the Shield had the shield. So they had to make Captain America's shield round instead of having it be the classic Knight's shield. But this is Pep Comics #31. And I think it's Captain Nazi, I think, is there. And the shield is letting him have it. The artist for this cover is Warren King. This is let's see, it's the first appearance of Mr. Lodge. So this is important. This is the first appearance of Veronica's dad is in this book. They're really wild. They're hard to find. They're hard to find, and they're hard to find that look nice. I don't know why that would be. This one has some kind of and it has a World War II motif on the back cover. General Douglas MacArthur. Free, special to the readers of Pep Comics, a portrait picture of General Douglas MacArthur. Interesting. Here is another Pep comic, and this one is a bondage cover, and I don't know for sure who did this front cover. Vance? Let's see here.
Sorry,
Harry Sable. Inside they have Hubble and Bob Fujitani art. Fujitani did a lot of really good art. He was a good artist. I just did a post here recently on Liberty Comics #13 that has reprints of Hangman stories, and Fujitani did the art in that. If you want to check my post, it's quite a good story. It's really gruesome, very, very gruesome, strangulation and all this other stuff. But this is the other one.
What issue of Pep is that?
This is #35, Alan.
Oh, nice.
January
That's
from
the first cover, isn't it?
January of 1943. First cover, what?
Is that with Archie on the cover?
No, Archie is not on the cover. That is the Shield.
Oh, okay. No, I thought it was the okay.
Rusty's coming in. His sidekick, Rusty's coming from above, and there is the Hangman. And what they do is, if you look carefully, it's quite busy in this. You'll see that there's a gal that has been lashed onto the tank right over the tread. But they have these Japanese guys with these huge rising suns on their helmets.
Oh, wow.
It's really quite something.
What issue is it where it's the first Archie cover? Is it like 30?
22? I mean,
22 is his first appearance, and then I thought it was like 30 something was his.
Yeah, where they have
they're
one where
holding him up on their shoulders.
Yeah, they have him up on the shoulders,
yeah.
as he's the victor of Pep Comics. And
yeah, basically.
This is somewhat serendipitous when I got this one. This one I got off eBay. I liked the cover just because it's the cover, but it's the last appearance of the Shield is the inside story in here.
Yeah, you were saying that one about that.
And they had all this thing where who's going to go to the prom and who's going to be driving her, and Reggie's got some kind of a problem, like he always has some kind of a problem. And Archie's Magoo and doesn't. And as a matter of fact, if you look at Archie in the trade dress, he looks like a rabbit up there, like he is.
I know he always has the crazy buck teeth.
The buck teeth. I mean, the early ones did. This book was from July of 1950, and so. But the interesting thing is the Shield story in here is absolutely gruesome. It's about a guy that makes a serum to bring people back to life, and so in order to test it, he basically kills people, and then he tries to bring them back, and they catch him, and then he's going to test himself, and he doesn't care that he's been caught because he knows that his minion will inject him and bring him back. So they show him getting fried in the electric chair, absolutely roasted. And then he comes out, and then they bring him back, and then he kills some more people. And then the next time they catch him and they kill him, this time the minion did not bring the guy back. But so here you have the prom and all this other stuff, and what's in the punch bowl, and geez, how many hamburgers can Jughead eat? And they have all this murder and electrocution and all that stuff. 36. Thanks,
36.
Matt.
I knew it was like 35, 36 issue. That's why I was wondering. That's why I said, when you said 35, I was like, oh, is that? Yeah.
This is from the Southern States collection. I got this from David T. Alexander. And it was a serviceman who went to various PXs when he was he was a career serviceman. I think he was in the service for like 30, 35 years and what have you. And wherever he would go, to the PXs and to newsstands where he was posted, he would always buy number ones. If he bought a men's magazine, it was a number one. If it was a crossword puzzle with an interesting cover, it was always a number one. And the books that he bought were all number ones as well. I have two comics from this guy's collection. I have Sorry, Saari, Sorry, number one. And I have this one, which is Murder Incorporated, number one.
Oh yeah, I like that one too. I was looking at a copy of that just recently.
And I believe that I read that John Forte, Forte, is the artist on this. And he had also did the Legion of Superheroes. He was one of the early artists for Legion before Kurt Swan took over and did a lot of it there. But John Forte did a lot of the early ones. But this is one of his earlier work. And this is a cover from January of 1948. And this is Fox Features Syndicate.
Very nice.
We're going back into Marvel land again. Here's an Atlas Comics from February of 1954. Another one of the girl titles that they had was Millie the Model. And here's a nice Millie the Model. And it's another one of these trope covers where I don't know who put the Petunia is with the cudgel with the umbrella that beats the hell out of the poor husband that had the temerity to look at Millie the Model, who looks spectacular. The artwork was done by Dan DiCarlo.
Oh, nice.
And you can get all kinds of prizes. And what is this for? Wilson Chemical Company. What do they sell? Cloverine salve. I was talking about Cloverine salve. I said, Dad, what is salve? He says, salve, spell it, S-A-L-V-E. That's not salve, Stephen. That's salve. I said, okay, what's salve? He says, it's if you got a rash or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put this guck on you, and then it supposedly solves the problem. That's what salve is.
Do you know why I know that word?
Why?
Because in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, really?
You use salves to basically, cure yourself if you need to.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a thing. Am I echoing still? Am I echoing still?
You sound fine to me.
Oh, okay. I sound echoey to me. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Maury Weiss did work also for Marvel Atlas for Good Girl stuff. And this is, Margie is another one that he had. And here's Margie. Cute noirette. Black hair is noirette. And this one is from August of 1948. And on the back, by gosh, we have a Butterfinger. And this was when Curtis Candy Company made Baby Ruths and Butterfingers, and then they, of course, later on they merged with another company, and that was the end of that.
Oh, show the
They
front
got bought
again.
out.
So I didn't see the front.
Oh, you
Show
didn't see the front?
Yeah, I turned my head at the second when you showed it.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no problem. Looks cool. I
Good
always
night,
like
good
those
night,
good.
good night, good night, good night, good night.
What's kind of funny about Marvel is they had so many good girl art titles. It was crazy.
It was bread and butter, and if you remember, I found that at the time they were also talking about censorship. Stan Lee was talking about, and he did 2 beautiful full-page, well-written advocacy letters about the quality of comic books and Marvel Comics in particular. And they had some doctor that they referred to and what have you, and they had the ACMP code thing prior to the Comics Code Authority. But yeah, it was just titled 16, 17 titles. But at the bottom of one of his exhortations or defenses of comic books, there was the list that had all of the different divisions of Marvel and all the different titles that they had. And the number of good girl titles was absolutely amazing, how much of their product mix was that, which then transitioned into the anthology comics that had Stan Lee writing. You had a Dick Ayers story, or you had a Kirby story, you have a Ditko story. God help you if it's a Larry Lieber story, which is crummy.
You're
But,
always complaining about him. It's so funny.
well, his art sucked. I remember this one about Egghead. There was this one Egghead guy. It was just dark and murky and unpleasant. So I don't like him. So I'm not vindictive, and I don't hold a grudge. I hate him.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to Timely. This is Marvel Mystery Comics number 66, and this is from September of 1945, which meant that the cover was produced probably in early August of 1945, because in September of 1945, September 2nd of 1945, the Instrument of Surrender was signed in Tokyo Bay aboard the USS Missouri battleship. And Doug MacArthur had the officials from the Japanese sign the Instrument of Surrender, and that was the end of the war, right there in Tokyo Bay. So this is the last propaganda cover on Marvel Mystery for the war.
See you, Ozzy.
Thanks for stopping by. This one has everything that you would want in a Schomburg cover. You have the death ray. You've got shooting guns. The death ray is being vaporizing parts of New York City down below. Torch and Toro are blowing everything up. Guys are falling out. It's just a
Considering how
great.
little space they had to work with, that big masthead, there's a lot of action happening in that
There's,
little
I mean,
space.
Schomburg, and then of course it's popping out through into the trade dress. The death ray. I showed that Green Hornet. I posted it a couple days ago. That Green Hornet has, I think, more stuff in that cover. That MLJ cover. I couldn't believe how much stuff is in that cover that Schomburg put in there. And it's also another propaganda cover. It's amazing how much that Alex could put into it. It's part of his charm. But that's the last one for that. And then
here, I'm gonna show some books too.
Okay, you want me to stop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because go back and forth a bit. so yeah, I you can show more. Don't worry. You can show a lot more.
I'm not worried.
Yeah. So I'll let you show more. Don't worry. There'll be more from Steven. I'm going to show some of my, mediocre books while
Your books are not mediocre.
I'll show some. I have some cool books too. So yeah.
Make you big.
Okay, so I'm going to be big, and I'll show you some. I kind of had. I'll just show a couple good girls. So Marvel had a whole bunch of titles as we were discussing, and they were always like, this is a very Stan Lee element to it. So Stan Lee always liked the idea of your first name and your last name having the same starting letter. Well, they did the same with the girls, where Tess the typist, Millie the model, Tola to Toller, it's like always like the same first name and the occupation that they did. So I'm getting a weird echo, but yeah. So I just like this one. This is nice. Test the Typist from Marvel Comics. And this is actually a Marvel Comics group, actually, which is interesting. It's not a Timely. I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, and then another Good Girl one is Women Outlaws. This is another title I'd love to have a complete run of. There's just so many great covers in it.
Who's the artist in that?
I'm not sure, tell you the truth. Not necessarily familiar with the artist on this one. And yeah, I have no idea. Is this still Fox Feature? It's Fox Feature that did Women Outlaws, right?
Right.
It doesn't have the Fox symbol on it. That's why I was wondering.
You could check the indices.
Okay, let's take a look at this one inside. It'll never say the artist. Back then they never said, but yeah, you can tell it's got the pink paper, by the way. You can see how the pink.
Oh, so it does.
Isn't that great?
That's a tell.
July 1949, published bi-monthly by Fox Features Syndicate. Yeah, but it doesn't say who the artist is, obviously. But yeah, isn't that great? This is one of the awesome things about Fox Comics is they had these really pink pages. And the actual inside artwork is quite good usually within the Fox ones, and lots of.
Well, the Iger House was good. They had a lot of really good artists, and a lot of guys were back from the war by. Is that 49? You said?
Yeah, 49.
A lot of guys were back by then and back at work.
Yeah, this one's quite a nice one. Okay, so that's some Good Girl, and here's some horror. Weird. This is Basil Wolverton art on the cover, and this is Weird Tales from the Future number 3. This is kind of the Grail book from the Weird Tales of the Future run, actually.
Did Weird Tales turn into Weird Tales of the Future, or is Weird Tales of the Future its own title?
Weird Tales of the Future. Weird Tales is a different genre, different book altogether.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is number 3, and then we got some Weird Mysteries.
I love that, the sort of the Jekyll and Hyde transition with the beautiful gal in the yellow dress, hanging out. That's a beauty.
Yeah, I got this one again. It's a low grade, but I just like the way it presents.
I've never seen that cover offered before. I've never. I mean, that's one you just don't see. Is it signed? Is the cover signed?
Cover is not signed. No. I thought it was something in the bushes there, but no, nothing, not signed. I'm not sure who did it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I used to know.
Those girls all spend an awful lot of time in graveyards, don't they?
Yeah, it's always girls in graveyards. But actually, the funny thing about this character, if you look at this, like, he's kind of like almost like Two-Face, where he's got like.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Or even.
Well, it's more like a half alien, really.
He almost reminds me of Metamorpho or somebody like that as well.
Yes.
Where his legs are different, even.
Wasn't there a character called Ultra too? Ultra.
Yeah, that's another.
It was some sort of a mishmash of stuff like that. He never really went anywhere. I remember that.
Yeah,
he went away.
Yeah, and then this is another one. This magazine is haunted.
With the melting skull.
Oh! I almost got kicked out there.
Wow,
that was weird. Okay, wait. I'll go back. Big again here. Yeah, so you got this sort of zombie-like guy and this other guy with the torch looking for the girl. I don't know. I like these kind of mixture of Good Girl and horror. And this is Joe Orlando.
I showed that book.
Yeah,
I just did. I just showed that.
Oh, did you show it too?
Yeah.
So that's one of the ones that you showed when I was away. Okay.
I was saying that it's the total trope of the gal that's basically scantily clad, and the guy's all got his uniform on and the bubble helmet and gloves and all
I
this
know
other stuff, and she's basically hanging out. I pointed out though, if you'll notice, she
the
does not have the tin can covering the trademark there.
the tin can covering the trademark. What do you mean?
Uh, Below the waist.
Oh yes, a little something there. You mean?
Yes.
No, but nothing's really showing, so it's okay. But actually, you know what I think is weird? This alien guy with the weird
Do you know what he
hand,
looks like, don't you?
he looks like a character from one of the aliens from the other
Flying
one.
saucer, the one
Yeah,
that you
flying
just got.
saucers.
It looks
Yeah,
just like the flying saucer
that's
guy.
what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Is I wonder if it's like a ripoff of that other flying
Well, I
saucer
think
dude.
they're both Avon, aren't they?
Yeah. So you never know. They recycled their monsters.
A good monster deserves repeating.
Okay, and now we've got to get some more Good Girl. So this is Bondage Good Girl. This is Captain Flight Comics, number 5. And it's got the hooded figures. It's got the what's his name again? What's this guy's name? Do you remember his name?
Red Rocket or something?
Red Rocket or something like that. Yeah, yeah. I know it's red something. Yeah, but yeah, you got the girl in bondage being put into the meat grinder, which is what you do. So
Hmm.
okay, and okay, now this is this. Do you know what this book is?
It's the first appearance of Frankenstein.
Yes, it is, and it's actually the very first comic devoted to only horror. So before this, most comics are actually kind of like anthologies, right?
Right.
And usually they'll mix it where they'll have like crime, superhero, some comedy. I don't know why they mix those ones, but they'll have like a little bit of everything for everybody. Well, this is the very first time you get one comic devoted to one genre, which is horror. It's considered to be the first, you know,
Now, what was the one that they were doing a tryout? Each issue was a different genre they were trying out to try. Was that ME?
that was EC.
EC. So educational comics. And when
Yeah.
was EC number? When was the first one that had that horror? That the book was all about horror.
I forgot what issue. I have it somewhere. I'd have to pull out my PCH box. It's in
Okay.
my PCH box, and I'm blanking on the name. I'll remember it after the show. I will remember.
I was just curious if it seemed like that would be an older book than what year is Frankenstein?
No, this is old. This is like early 40s. I
Okay.
believe this is 41. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
Eerie, which is the very first horror title.
Right, number one, yeah.
Yeah.
Nosferatu.
Yeah, that one is 47 or 49. It's like way later.
Way past then.
Yeah, so this is like 7 years earlier. But that one is considered to be the first horror comic. And then EC was doing their stuff in like the early 50s. It was much, much later.
Right.
So yeah, so it was like, they were kind of late to the game. They just saw that, oh, there's something going on here. We gotta kind of take
We got to
advantage.
get you some.
Yeah.
So
So
that's Avon again, isn't it? Those guys
yeah,
look
these are
very
all like,
similar as well.
yeah, they're maybe they like to recycle them. They have a lot of these ones with the big brain guys.
Yeah, and they have like the little antlers and stuff kind of growing out.
Yeah, yeah, like that.
And
But
then, boy, look at that, the headshot.
yeah, this is cool because she's shooting him in the gut, and then he's shooting him in the head.
He
But at
doesn't
least his
appear to be
friend,
having any distress from it.
yeah, he seems okay. It's just a flesh wound. It'll be
Yeah,
okay.
it's just a flesh wound.
It's a flesh wound. Walk it
Will it
off.
grow back? No, it won't.
But at least his friend is gonna get some revenge. So
There you go.
yeah, so that's always good. And then I actually completed this collection, the Space Detective.
Now she looks very much like the
The
gal
other
that's
one,
on Strange Worlds.
yes, very similar.
Plenty of O'Toole.
Well, let me see if I can grab that again. One sec here. I'll keep this up. Is it this one?
That's the baby.
Isn't it? They're in the same. One sec here. Reflection here. And they're in the same kind of pose.
Yeah. And they're wearing the
Yep.
same kind of dress. And the
And
faces
actually,
are pretty close. Is Space Detective Joe Orlando, or is that Wally Wood? No, that Wally Wood did Strange Worlds, right?
yes, this is Wally Wood.
Right.
I'm not sure if this is Wally Wood too. Actually, I'm not sure. Somebody can look it up.
This time he said, I don't want to have to put that tin can on again. I'll just lift her leg up a little bit, then no one can see it.
Yeah, and it looks like actually almost the same cover. They just switched the
They
position.
rotated the characters, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, she's half naked or almost naked, and the guy is in a complete spacesuit with a bubble helmet.
If you're half
like
naked,
you do.
If you're half naked and a woman, you're fine. You're okay. It's just space.
You're okay.
It'll be okay.
Things are fine. Gee, that guy in the middle looks like he's got a hell of a headache. Looks like Sinestro, doesn't he?
He looks like Sinestro. That's what I was thinking too. Actually, that's funny. But he's got a bit of an overbite.
He sure does. And he's drooling too. He's very attractive.
Well, I mean, he's about to grab the girl, so what do you expect? Okay, you'd be drooling too if you saw that hot girl. Okay. And then we got Space Detective, number 4.
When you look down at the winged, ugly woman, whatever, the green, it looks like she's turning into the Wolfman. I mean, it looks like the face is stretching out.
She's kind of distorted.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of Earthman on Venus, or that comic. Do you know that one?
But Earthman on Venus is a really cute cover.
Yeah,
the
but
gal on that is
there's like
cute.
a weird girly thing on that too, though.
Well, she's an alien, but she's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's a little bit more distorted and ugly.
Yes.
And they got the girl in the bottom with some bondage thing going on.
Yeah, steel strap across the neck.
Yeah, kind of. And she's wearing red top but not red dress, so
yes, but at least she doesn't have any kind of breathing apparatus, and she's bare chested, so we give her that.
She should be fine. Yeah, she should be fine.
She should be all right.
She'll be okay. But Ron Hathaway is going to save her, so don't worry. Okay, so those are my books.
I continuing on here.
Okay, so I'll let you go big again.
Oh, sure. Here is one that is just really kind of a cute cover, but it's surprisingly low on the census count. Master Comics number 44 from November of 1943. And it's just a cute cover during the war. It doesn't have to be
the penguin one.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but I think that this was very harshly graded because the back cover's not bad, but the colors on this, I mean, it's just beautiful. Sort of the fantasy thing where the penguins know Captain Marvel Jr. and they can talk, and they're trying to help out, and these guys are trying to get stuff and what have you. It's a great story.
Yeah, very nice.
And we're going back into Marvel again, and we were just talking about Ken Bald, and this is a Ken Bald cover, and it is not only a Ken Bald cover; it is a signed Ken Bald cover.
Oh, very nice.
And as Alan was saying, it's Millie the model, Tessie the toiler, Tilly the typist. That was just what they did, and it must have worked for them because they sold. I mean, they went for like almost 7, 8 years, 9 years with these Good Girl books because they didn't really have a whole lot else going on. The superheroes were pretty much moribund at this point, but you can see the look on the face of the men and on Millie is very definitely Ken Bald. I also like with Ken Bald, a lot of times what he'll do is he'll find some part of his art that he will sign. For example, here he's using the line on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I saw that
as his signature line, and I thought that was a pretty nice way to do it.
A really great placement. I hate when they sign across the art. That drives me
Yeah, they
crazy.
sign their name like they make it gigantic with a big Sharpie right across the chest or across the face of the hero. What, don't you like your own work? Why are you doing that? Why would
Yeah,
you do that?
yeah,
Mar the book. That's the
yeah.
same thing as these people that would stamp them, and they would time stamp them like through the eyes and across the chest or in a very glaringly obvious space. Like, don't you like your people that, I mean, don't you respect your customers that you deface the things that they are buying? I never understood that.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
What's on the back cover? Be a movie producer, Alan, for $1.98.
Oh, that's cool. I always wanted to be a movie producer.
Well, for $2, you can be.
Wow, dare to dream.
And then they see that what they do is they teach you how to make a box, and then you get a light bulb from the hardware store in a socket, and then you turn it on, and then you melt any of the film that comes that you're showing on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever seen this Superman crypto ray gun? I mean, one for real. I mean, how they look. I mean, for real.
That's funny. You mentioned HST, and that reference won't make any sense to you, Stephen, will it? That's the tax in Canada. HST is the harmonized sales tax.
Harmonized?
Yeah, basically we have a provincial tax and we have a federal tax, and they mixed the two together and made it harmonized. So your taxes are in perfect harmony and take more out of your pocket.
God, harmony. What? That's sort of like when they were playing pretty music at the concentration camps.
Yeah, exactly.
Call it a pretty name and wave and paint a pretty picture when bad stuff happens. It's the harmony tax. How much is it? How much have you got? That
Exactly.
sucks.
It is. It's pretty bad.
Here is, I had mentioned again the Southern States collection where the serviceman went, and one of the ones that I said that I had gotten, and here it is Sorry Number One. This is a one shot. They only had one.
Mhm.
And it's a white pager and it's an 8.0. I don't think it's the top grade, but it's up very near the top. And it's got a very, very strong color strike.
Yeah, I have the complete collection of Sorry as well.
You do. You have this issue. I've got the whole run. And on the back it says Magic Panel features slims like magic. Looks slimmer, more youthful. Reduce your appearance. It won't reduce your weight, but it'll reduce your appearance.
Yeah, yeah.
Send
Nobody will
more
notice
money.
you. You'll be so reduced that nobody will notice you.
Can't even breathe.
Mm.
How? What happened to Mary? She passed out. She's so slim.
Exactly.
The Saint by Leslie Charteris was a very good book written by Leslie Charteris, and the Saint was licensed in various ways. George Sanders was the Saint. Louis Jordan was the first Saint, and he was really good in the first Saint B movie. And then George Sanders came in, and he was always very good. His voice is so wonderful, very suave. He was very good. And Simon Templar, who was supposed to be this Robin Hood, and he would steal from people. Then in the movies, and like the same thing with when Roger Moore had the TV series in England, ITC. He never stole anything. He never took anything. It was all it was implied. They never showed him stealing. And Charteris hated that. Let the guy steal stuff. Take from the minions of evil. The terrible people.
So just so you know how bad.
15%.
Yeah. It's
What province is Matt in?
it should be like Nova Scotia or somewhere in the East Coast. It's that way.
And you're in Ontario?
I'm in Ontario. It's 13%.
Jeez. It's so harmonious.
It's very harmonious.
But this is
Quebec.
a rather
I didn't
Quebec.
realize it was Quebec. I didn't realize it was that
Storing
high.
lumber on the deck. Here is another one that has the star of ACMP, the data borning code that Gaines blew up. The artwork on this is such a departure because Matt Baker did one of these as well, and it's really a really nice.
I can grab it if you want to see it.
Okay,
I
have it here too, but please do, because you're easier you get yours. But this one is a complete departure from that. And I just to say who did it. It's interesting. Walter Johnson he did like the Key Comics, and he did some really cool covers. He did this one too. This is from the book is Avon, and it's from 1949.
Nice.
And you can see created by Leslie Charteris down there. It's a nice copy. It's a 6.5, white pages. And Alan still has a chance to get his wallet. There's still time. And I remember these where the wallet was zip up all the way around. So like you'd have your wallet, and I knew guys that had these that instead of having it to fall open and your bus tickets would fall out, your cafeteria tickets would fall out, you'd lose stuff. So if you're a klutz, then what you do is they give you this zipper wallet where you basically zip it all the way around and then put it in your pocket. I guess it works, but sitting on a metal zipper doesn't sound very good anyway. But that one. Here we go into Quality Comics. This is from November of 1949, and it's a #1. And it is Secret Love's #1. And this features a cover and art by Bill Ward. And the Torchy that he designed and created, and both he and Gil Fox were the ones that would draw Torchy. Ward only got 2 covers of his own creation. On I think it's 5 and 6 are the 2 Ward covers, or 4 and 6, I think. I posted this one here just about a week and a half or so ago, and I took the premise that you'll notice that this was Fern Huddleston's book, Ferne, Fern Huddleston, and so I built this story about how Fern was feeling funny these days because she turned 16 and they were talking about girls. I mean, it's a total fabrication. I conjured the whole thing. And then she goes I'll go down to the drugstore for a Coke, and then she walks past the newsstand, and then she sees this book and she says, my gosh, the girl looks just like me. And all the guys will think that I'm wearing lingerie, or what'll I do? Or it looks like, I guess they used to call things, this looks like sleepwear, but the girls would wear these things in the late 40s, 50s. They call them play suits. So they just play in their play suits. I'd just put on my play suit. I love that. And on the back, it's an advertisement for U.S. Royal tires. I remember U.S. Royal would have ads in the 50s, and DC, I think, even had back covers and stuff for U.S. Royals for guys for their bicycles and how good the tires were. I shift now over to a pulp character who then transitioned into comic books. The publisher is Street and Smith Publications, and the Shadow, who was a radio star and first a pulp star and then a radio star. On the radio program, if you've ever listened to it, YouTube has it, you can listen to it. The very first set was the ensemble with Orson Welles, and the gal that played Endora on Bewitched, if you can think of her name, was in his ensemble, and she played Margot Lane. And Margot Lane was a creation, a character that was created on the radio show, but it wasn't in the pulps until after the radio show. And because it was so popular, then Margot Lane got into the pulps as well later on because of the popularity. Here's where the original one, they actually had a refinement, and I'll let you off the hook. It's Agnes Moorehead. It was the name of a young Agnes Moorehead. He had Joseph Cotton and other people in his ensemble. He was really a good, the Mercury Theater of the Airs or whatever. But here we have the Shadow. And so one of these ones where how many different volumes do you have and how many issues are in a volume? Volume 3, number 12, from March of 1944. And I am told that this cover is notorious for being not registered correctly. And this particular one is registered perfectly. And I got it from Jeff Itkin, and Jeff had got it from some other guy. And when I posted this, the original owner said, "You got that from Jeff, didn't you?" And I responded, "Yeah, I did." He says, "Well, that was my book before, and the registration on it is perfect." So I guess it's a thing. I think it's just a really cool cover. Fade is a really bad cat, and the skulls and everything, but his face is very maniacal. And the shadow, and he's got a bayonet basically in his hands that he's going to cut you up. He's coming after you and me, and you and you and you. The interesting thing about the shadow, especially when I started reading it by Michael Kaluta in the 20 Cent era, was that his artwork in the shadow for a very short period of time, which was he didn't last. Frank Robbins came in and took over, and Frank Robbins' art was such a departure from Kaluta. I couldn't accept it, frankly. And he was Kaluta. I mean, Frank Robbins was really good on the Invaders. I liked that golden age look that he had. Agnes Moorehead, right?
Yeah, so he got
Uh,
it.
and so, but was interesting about it was that uh, about about Agnes Moorehead. She had a very distinguished career, and her and Dora, and she was on Twilight Zone, the famous one where the little robot, the aliens land and they're stinging her and stuff, and she's crying and screaming and getting rid of them, and then at the end, it's the aha moment is that they're actually from the United States, and she's this enormous giant alien type person, but anyway, that's the story on that. Alan, take it away if
All
you're
right,
there.
I'm here. I'm here. I had to find that Matt Baker thing.
Oh, okay.
I was going on a wild goose chime. Okay. So
Did
yeah,
you find the Saint?
I did find it. It was at the very bottom.
Of
So
course.
I have like stacks of about 30 slabs, and it's at the very bottom. So I grabbed a few other things as a result.
Okay, good.
So okay, I'll show the one, Matt Baker.
Oh, you want to show
Okay.
the two?
Okay,
Show
we
the
can
two
show them
side by
together.
each.
Yeah, here's. Wait, do I angle it this way or which way do I angle it? That way, maybe.
That's good. Come closer to me. There you go.
There we go.
An absolute, total, and complete. Walter Johnson did this cover, Alan, and Walter Johnson does good stuff. I have to say that the Saint that has the Alan Ulmer cover is
It's
better.
really good too. Yeah.
That orange cover is pretty darn good. But look at the difference between what Alan has there is a classic cover. What I have here is an okay cover, but that is
No, actually, I like yours.
no, it's good. But it ain't Matt Baker. You look at this, and it's a popular. I mean, he's a popular artist, and she's statuesque. But if you look at the lines and the flowing, the proportions that
The
Matt
dress
Baker does,
flows better.
there is just no compare. And of course, also the perfect contours of her face and her facial expression, hairstyle, and clothing too, and his proportions. That is the secret to Matt Baker. That's what makes him so good, is that it really translates so well. This one's okay, and it's a nice book, and it's okay, but Matt Baker really does have that special something. He really does. I
He
think.
was great. He was a great artist. Okay, so I'm going to show some other books that were on top of the Matt Baker. Basically, you're getting to see what was on top. What was on top of that Matt Baker? Well, we got Big Shot comics with a nice Hitler cover.
That's
Hitler,
great.
Mussolini, and Tojo.
Well, there's Booty Rogers with that darn Sparky Watts.
Sparky Watts, your favorite character. So this is Bodie Rogers, yeah, his cover. But yeah, it's a great, it's Hitler, Mussolini, and Tojo all getting hit with one punch, which is awesome.
Look at the how wonderful the art is. His caricatures of the Axis.
Yeah.
And how, even the star and the boot and everything, everything else that he's got, and how wonderful that is. And then you look at the characters that are in Babe of the Ozarks, because he did the Babe series too.
They look the same.
They look very similar.
Yeah.
But the caricatures he did there are damn good. They really are.
Yeah, they're kind of funny. So yeah, I mean, I like the way Hitler looks. He's even got like, that kind of Adam's apple kind of
Oh
thing
yeah,
going
well,
on.
I like the red tie with the swastika. Very strong.
Yeah, that's really good. So, yeah, that was one of the ones on top. This next one's a really cool. I actually really like fire covers. I was looking for this one for the fire challenge, but I didn't know where it was.
Is that camera?
Yeah, Camera Comics number 6.
I
And
like that.
it's a Kefler cover. Or
I
Tiefler?
like the one where she swings the camera and clocks the guy with her camera.
Yeah,
I like that.
I have that as well, but it's a raw comic. But this one I just really like. I actually like this one better. I don't know. I like the fire. I don't know. I think they're cool. And you got this little mad scientist guy laughing in the background. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Oh, it's nice. He's got his Lex Luthor going there with his genie bottle.
Yeah, so it's awesome. And the cameraman guy has got really stoic face.
Yeah, he sure looks concerned about being in a fiery room, doesn't he?
Yeah, not really.
The
So yeah,
tranks are working.
what's interesting, I actually, because the other copy I have is raw. If you actually open these up, it has like actual photos from the war. Like,
Really?
yeah. So you'll see things like, you'll see like on the back, it's ad for Kodak. But this is kind of similar to what you would see inside. You'd have these kind of photos.
What is the style of the film? Because I used Kodachrome. I used Kodak Kodachrome when I was first shooting film. Does it say what kind it is, or just Kodak film?
It says Kodachrome film. V620. If that means anything to you. So yeah.
What's the speed of the film? Or there's no speed.
Does it say the speed? I don't know. It doesn't say the speed. But this one presents really well, but you can see on the back why it got such a low grade.
Wow.
So somebody ripped off it looks like probably almost like a remainder copy, but not properly done. But the front cover is just really, really sharp.
I think that the color strike on that is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, it's a really nice copy. Okay, so that's that one. And then we got another reporter kind of style book. Brenda Starr. This is one of my favorite. This is a restored copy. Bit of color touch. But I always like this one. There's
it's your Little Men again.
It's my Little Men. I love the Little Men.
They must be teeny tiny because she's carrying a pencil like it's a lance, so she has to be teeny tiny as well.
Yeah, there's a few like this where there's another one where it's like the artist is like it's like Punch Comics. I forgot what issue number, but it's Punch Comics where there's like an artist working at like a drawing, and his characters are coming and stabbing him in the back.
Yeah, that's wild.
I feel like this one kind of has that same feeling to it in a way because she's a writer, like a reporter, and you got these little, like, her stories almost like, fighting against her.
Well, it's like a fever story. I mean, it's like a fever dream. Are they standing on currency?
No, no, it's like a newspaper, like newspaper clippings and stuff.
Okay.
Like newspaper, like those are newspapers. So yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That is, I love that red cover. That's a beauty.
And here's another great fire. Like all my fire covers were together, I think, because here's another great fire cover.
Oh man,
this is a great book, by the way.
That is a beautiful copy. By the way, that's a really nice grade for that book. The colors on that are beautiful.
Yeah,
so that's a white pager, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a white pager.
Beautiful, you can tell.
Yeah, it is really sharp. I don't know why it got a 6. Oh, I do know why. It's like this book is actually flawless except one corner. See how that little chip in the corner?
Yep.
And that's it. That's all that's wrong with this book.
You're lucky you got the 6 because I have my Cindy Comics, the yellow one with the tattoo art on it that's right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
My top right corner is gone. It looks just like that when they gave me a 5.5.
Oh wow.
So you got
It's just a really small corner that's missing. It's not the whole corner. It's just the top
Yeah,
little
no, I
piece.
have. It's just the tip of it, which is what I have too. But evidently, mine's top right, and it's a full yellow cover. You can barely even see it. But that one, you got the 6, I got the 5.5. Good for you.
Yeah, so this one is interesting. I'm not sure if you're like just for the viewers. There's actually okay. So this one is the no price variant. There's
Uh,
a, there's actually 4 different versions. Okay, so there's one where you have this little circle where they would put the price in it. There's one where you don't have it, so this is removed. Then there's one with the 10 cents inside, and then there's one with the large 10 cents. And there's like so the ones with the 10 cents in them are actually more valuable because these books were really just given away. They were kind of like
well, is that the Catholic comic under what's the
yeah,
company?
the Catholic Catholic Guild, you know, what I'm trying to say. I can't say it, but you can say it for me.
Okay, no, I'll let you say it.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
So
look.
yeah, but so yeah, so this is America under communism or Joe Biden. And then we got the commandments on the back, which I actually think are really great. This is know your government, know the issues before it, keep up on foreign problems, be tolerant of other races, religions, and nationalities, practice your own religion, read newspapers and magazines critically, use your vote, follow closely the actions of your elected representatives, join political organization, be American first. Isn't that
That's
great?
great.
I mean, I think it's a great book. One that is very timely, actually, strangely enough.
It sure is.
And then we got some Crime Smashers. I just picked up an issue of Crime Smashers today, believe it or not. So this is Crime Smashers number 9. I actually picked up number 10 today.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the run. Another run of many runs that I'm trying to get. We just lost a
But
whole.
that has Sally the Sleuth in it, doesn't it?
It does have Sally the Sleuth. It even says right there, Sally the Sleuth. But the Sally the Sleuth that's in these is kind of boring. Not as cool as the
Well, isn't Sally the Sleuth the one that the really early ones, and she's basically out of
half
clothing
naked.
most of the
Yeah,
time?
her clothing keeps on falling off for some weird reason.
God,
That's
what a great character.
Yeah, she was awesome in the 30s. In the 1930s, they went really full on with her. Like they did some crazy stuff with her. She like the one that I always like maybe slightly traumatized by was there's one where there's this guy, she's trying to find this serial killer, and he's basically killing all these women uh and eating them.
Oh
Okay.
God.
So basically, she finds him because she is a sleuth. She's good at finding the bad guys, but then she gets captured by the bad guy. But she has sort of this sidekick that kind of helps her, and he gets the police to come. And when they come, she's like tied up and all ready to get eaten. And in the background, you see like 2 girls hanging in the background, half naked, and one has a big chunk out of her where
Oh
she's been
God.
eaten. Yeah, it's
Who
pretty.
who
It's
drew
pretty.
Who drew Sally the Sleuth? Who
Uh,
wrote it?
Alfonso, Boro, something. It's some. I'm terrible at names. But it's something like Alfonso Baro, blah blah blah. Boro, blah, blah. Some,
Okay.
yeah, it's a name that I can't pronounce.
And
So
is the company where Sally the Sleuth is there? Is that the same company that did it earlier too?
no, no, no. I think it's a different company. The original is through the pulps, right?
Right. Well, yeah.
I don't think it's the same company. It's Trojan Magazine. I'm not sure who did the
Okay.
pulps. It's probably a different company for the pulps.
There it
Uh,
is.
and this is
That's
another
the
one you
one.
like. This one you're the one that got me to buy this in a way. Um, you're the one that kind of showed me this, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. Uh, you
It
know,
is the most heinous cover.
I
I mean,
know.
it
It's like
really is. Biro. He is
you
Charles Biro is just sick puppy. The guys in the car with the ropes and
Yeah.
all the stuff for her, and he's got
And
the
this girl looks like as innocent as they could make her. Like,
as
she's got
abs. She's
the
got a little
little
knee.
pigtails, the
Yeah,
little
she's got
schoolgirl
the hair
outfit.
ribbons. She's got her little knee bent into it at the knee,
Yeah.
and scared and what's going to happen. It's awful.
And he's got the ice cream cone. Hey, little girl. Here's some ice
And he
cream.
looks like an ape. I mean, he really looks like, if you look at his face really closely, Byro does a beautiful job of
Mhm.
making that guy look like a real, a real Neanderthal.
Byro died in 1976.
72.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think it's cool how where he placed his signature on this book. One second, let's see if I can do
Well,
it
it's on the
right.
side of the car. He'll
Yeah.
do that he would do that stuff. And of course,
Sort of work it in.
the guy that's behind the wheel, he has his hand on the gear lever because that car is a 3 on the tree.
Oh, okay.
First, second, and third. First is down towards you. Second is up to the middle, forward and up for second, and then high gear is straight down. Reverse is towards you and up, and that's how the 3 speeds.
Oh, that's cool. So I mean, this is like, the fact that he has all those little details is awesome.
It is. He does. I'll tell you, he can do any. I mean, he could do a lot of his variety, and his ability was really good.
I like the fact that he tells a full story within that panel that he had to work with. Here's another Charles Byro. I mean, I actually put all my Charles Byro books together, I think. And this is like the guy falling. I actually like this one just because it's the perspective of it, where he's falling down the elevator shaft.
It's it's an amazing cover.
Yeah.
The perspective.
Yeah, it's a really cool perspective, especially because what you have is like this checkered floor on the door open. I think that's kind of a cool effect as well.
His proportions and the geometric. I mean, as far as how he did to give the impression of a great height.
Mhm.
I think it's amazing. Now, I'm assuming the guy in the green suit shoved this guy into the elevator shaft, didn't he?
I don't know. It almost looks like he's either reaching out his hand to help or
No, I
reaching
think I think he
it was
shoved him in.
pushed. You
I
think it
think
was
he pushed
pushed?
him in. Yeah.
I have more faith in humanity, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I think it was nice. He was just like, gave him a gentle, like, nice little pat. Okay. Um, one sec here. My books are about to fall. Okay. And last one for Crime Does Not Pay. This whole series was pretty awesome. All Charles Byro covers. And I think this one, I actually got you to buy this one. See, we kind of,
Well, you're going to see it here in a moment because I got that out to show specifically. So
yeah.
we'll see it again.
Okay, so this one, Injury to the Eye, Wortham would have loved this book. So yeah, I just like the fact, you got this dead guy in the background. He's just like in a pool
They
of
got
his own
3 dead
blood.
guys. They got 1 guy on the main entrance, and you got 2 guys on the side. She's still firing, and she hit that guy right in the eye.
I know. She's like,
And she's running in her heels, which is amazing.
yeah.
Have you noticed on the Lev Gleason symbol down there that some of them in the middle, it has the word integrity?
Yeah, this one has that.
Okay. I think that's just, I was looking and says, what is that line? Integrity. Well, nothing says integrity like that cover.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's all about integrity.
That's a
Yeah.
great cover. I liked it enough. You influenced me into buying it.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it used to be behind me all the time, but then I moved it. I switched things around. Every so often, I slowly switch things around on my back wall.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some other things back there. I kind of getting a little bit bored of this stuff. I want to switch it
Well,
up.
you have a few to choose from.
Yeah, I actually switched out a few recently. I switched out this little spot. I'm gonna switch out this spot. I'm gonna switch out the Torchies. I think
Well, you've
Torchies.
had those out for a while. I think should give Bill Ward a rest and Gil Fox a little rest.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna switch those out. So I'll make you big. Now you can show some stuff.
This is an artist that I really wasn't familiar with. His name is Lou Morales, and this is a Charlton comic from when I was born, September of 1953. So it's pre-code, and so am I. Crime and Justice, and I had never seen this cover before. Time to pass. That's very well put.
Yeah.
This cover is I just think is really, really lovely. Old
It's a good one.
Mr. Morales. The guy's trying to drive over. It's sort of a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of mystery, where they're both the guy's a detective or whatever, and she's his girlfriend and stuff, and they just happen to pick the wrong place. That's another trope where they pick the wrong place to be the wrong time, and there's all this stuff, and they get embroiled in all this stuff. This was on my comic shop, and I was able to buy it for it was a very, very inexpensive book, but I've never seen. I mean, it's a truly lovely cover.
I picked it up after you showed it, by the way.
Oh, that's you have very good taste.
I picked that one up too, so that's a good one.
I got this one here not too terribly long ago. It just sort of it presented itself, and I was just lucky. And I think this was from a follower. This is a Warren Broderick and Jimmy Maxwell did the cover. I mean, were the artists on this. This is a Fox Features Syndicate from December of 1948, and it's Crimes by Women.
Oh, I like that one. I've been trying to get that one for a long time. That's a good one.
And for a Fox Features book, this actually is quite amazing because not only is it a 6, which is a high grade for this book, it's white pages.
Wow. And they didn't even use white pages, so that's pretty awesome.
And they never did. How did it happen?
How's that even work?
Some terrible mistake. Yeah,
they started out pink and then they faded to white.
Well, and then there was blue and there was gray, and then there was this sort of a kind of a half bone set. I mean, it was the cheapest cheap ass paper that they could find and it made the really saucy, sexy, sizzling imagery because you had this sleazy paper with sleazy art. The guy was brilliant.
Yeah,
Victor Fox was brilliant. He really was. He didn't pay his artists very much either. And I think that's where Feldstein left, and he warned her. He says, "Hey, I'm out of here." He doesn't pay.
Yeah. That's why he left.
That's why he left.
That's why he joined. And actually, because he left, he actually was partly responsible for why EC took a horror bend. Because Gaines basically said, "What should we do? What are we going to do to make this company work?" And he talked to Al Feldstein and a couple of other artists, and they said, "Hey, let's give horror a shot."
Who were the big artists for EC? There was, I know Feldstein.
Well, you got like Johnny Craig and
Johnny Craig. Yeah. He's good. Johnny Craig covers are good. Well, we're still having Crimes by Women. This is Crimes by Women number 6. This one I bought from Jeff Itkin, and I don't know where he got it. It says on the label it's a classic cover, but it's the classic Catfight cover. And she has had the top of her dress has been completely torn off, and her bra's hanging out, a la Madonna.
Yeah, I actually have that in my shopping cart, believe it or not.
Oh, you do? She's got her shoe off, and she's going to clock the Noirette, the black-haired gal, the raven tresses. "He's mine, I tell you. Keep away from him." And she says, "Why, you cheap frill. Who helped him pull that bank job? From now on, I'm the favorite around here." And the schlub in the back is going, "Tut, tut, girls, let's not fight,
Mm-hmm.
What a schlemiel. But what a great cover, though, I think.
Yeah, no, it's a great one. I'm just putting my books away. 1 second.
Next comes the book that Alan showed that I had to get me a copy of this. Crime Does Not Pay, number 36. It really does have an awful lot of blood and problem going on. I like the perspective that Biro did, where the road stretches on with the telephone poles, with the telephone lines probably power in there too, and the cops are taking their shots at her. It's a really great cover.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
What is this? It
Hi,
says
werewolf.
here hey, it says the back cover says this has a spine roll in it. I should have this thing fixed. They used to giggle, laugh, and smirk. Girls thought I was an awful jerk. With Glovers now, my rating's high. My hair's got class. I'm a different guy.
That's awesome. I like the
So
little tone.
just smear this here goop on your hair, and the women will say, "Whoa, what a grease ball!"
Yeah, see?
Look at him smiling down below. Hey, I got it made, and it looks like he's in the service too. He's got a uniform on.
Oh, wow.
What year is this?
Must be in the early
November of
50s.
'44. There's a reason why.
Oh, okay. So yeah, 44. Oh, wow.
November of '44.
Oh, okay. Different war.
And since a good cast deserves repeating,
Hmm. So you have all your crimes by Does Not Pay all together too.
well, I have the slabs I do because if I don't keep them alphabetical, I can't find anything.
Mm.
Alphanumeric is the only way I can do it. But I don't have all. I mean, I have the boxes and what have you. On the raws, I bought about 15 or 20 of those. That I mean, from I like not I like comics in Vancouver. From that set that came in that had the Miss Furies and the Captain Arrow and all of those crimes by, Crime Does Not Pay. All of those were in there too, and I have those as well. That's
Mhm.
sort of my opportunity. Again, that was sort of like an opportunity to do it. This one I also got from, I think this one I got from Lee Polanski, good guy.
Oh, he's a good guy too. Yeah.
And a lot of times when you show the Schomburg shark covers, all the sharks always have their heads tipped back and their teeth out. We're getting sparks and shots and stuff like this going on. This is Daring Comics #9, which is actually #1. It was Daring Mystery
Oh,
before.
okay. Yeah. This is the
Timely
one of the
Comics
classic covers.
from fall of 1944, and remarkably, this is a white pager.
So that's one of the big crazy covers with the sharks and the sharks in the pool of.
The pink sharks and the Submariner is taking on a bunch of them. Schomburg signed it, Schomburg, down in the lower corner there. But the sharks always have their mouths open with all their teeth. It's an interesting the way he drew it. He always has the big sumo guys, and then he has smaller guys too. But he has the big sumo guys sort of on pedestals. They're going to be cutting. And this is a really interesting cover because it has nationalist Chinese officers that are being tortured. An ally that basically Chiang Kai-shek, and they're fighting the Japanese. And these Chinese officers are being lowered down in the pits. So Schomburg clued in enough to include the year on this one is the fall of 1944, fall of 44.
Cool.
But this one, I mean, and the thing also about Timely, so often it's the red cover. Marvel Mysteries are almost invariably red. This one is a green cover, and I just think that it's just the composition of this by Alex just has so much going on all the time. And
Yeah.
always with the torch when he comes in, basically there's always this melted stuff. I mean, it always looks, that's the same look when he's melting through brick or whatever it is.
Yeah, I have the other version of the same cover. He did it again actually in Young Allies. I think Young Allies 10, I want to say. It's got the sharks, it's got the people being lowered into the tank, it's got all the characters around and stuff. I have that one in my
Well,
collection.
that's all I have.
Oh, okay. Well, that is a good way to wrap it up, actually,
Yes.
because it's going on 3 hours.
My gosh, that's amazing. That went
Yeah,
fast, didn't it? Did
that
that
went
go
really
fast?
fast. It did go fast. So yeah, but it was fun. Thanks for hanging out for like
Sure.
3
I
hours.
loved it. It's fun to show books. It's
Yeah.
fun to show books and talk. I really do love it.
Okay. So yeah, so we'll have to do this again, maybe Monday or Monday. Oh, speaking of which, Monday is a very special day. It's probably, I think it's like national holiday, actually international holiday, isn't it? Like one of the most biggest days of the whole entire century or year or whatever is Monday.
I'm drawing a blank. What is it?
It's like a big holiday day. You know, it's like a major day. You don't know?
January what is it?
29th.
I don't know. Martin Luther King Day?
No, much more important person. Much more.
Who is it? What is it?
It's Comic Collector Geek's birthday.
It is Comic Collector Geek's birthday. 51?
Yeah.
Are you 51?
I'll be 51. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So not a big day for the rest of the world, but for me, it's a big day.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah. So we'll do a hangout. We'll do a birthday hangout. So yeah, it's my birthday. I'll do whatever I want.
Well, if you can't do something on your birthday, what the hell good is it?
Yeah. So we'll have a special hangout on Monday, and we'll just hang out.
We could see if we could dragoon Big B in and maybe get lunch money, or maybe get a couple guys, and we could really
it'll be fun.
throw the ball around.
So yeah, so that'll be Monday. So everyone, whoever lasted this long, 3 hours, come join us on Monday, and we'll have a little birthday thing.
I thought lunch money was going to be here, and where's Mr. Akins? I thought we'd get him too.
So I didn't invite them directly. So I kind of invited Big B.
Yes.
Thinking he would invite them, but he was busy, so he didn't invite them.
Oh,
So
I see.
Nobody got the invite, so it kind of failed.
No.
Okay. Well, it's not my birthday until Monday, but yes, thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
So yeah, so good night, everyone. And
good night.
Thank you for coming on again, Stephen. And,
thank you. My pleasure. A lot of fun.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
See you later.